we go.
All right, everybody, welcome to our Loganville City Council meeting. Roll call is Ainsley is out. Everybody's here except for Ainsley, who's on vacation. But we have Sarah back there taking minutes for us, I believe, correct? All right, thank you so much. And Lisa called. She's stuck in traffic. She'll be here as soon as she can. Her GPS was saying she's going to be a little bit late. So with that said, let's go ahead and we got a motion to approve the agenda, or do we need to make any additions?
Ask y'all for if you want to add something to the agenda. Just got this email from Keckenwood. It's the proposal for the Bobby Boss design. Bill and I talked about this last week. We got the first one. We didn't. We thought it was too quick. They just sent a second one. Can we add that to the agenda, and I will print it out here shortly and give y'all a copy? Or we can wait till August, but it's keeping track with GDOT's project for Highway 20 widening. This is for the Bobby Boss extension, the new road with a red light.
What does council think about adding that to the agenda, the Bobby Boss extension?
Well, so it's the construction inspection that goes along with it, and which we need to have. We need to have somebody watching over it. Well,
I'm sorry, it's for the bid and construction. I said design, but we already paid for design. Sorry.
Yeah, we already did the design. It's
Yes.
it's getting the package together and being, working with us. So the only issue about waiting, I mean, certainly we can wait. The only issue about waiting is, we are scheduled to go ahead and get this thing let in August, so we're pushing it tight, getting the contract with them. So the only thing they had to do, they tried to get it in here, but we were looking at, the construction time and thinks it needs to be, we thought it needed to be a little bit longer than what they were proposing.
Well, you kind of know the most about it, Bill. What's your thoughts on it? Want to put it on the agenda or wait?
So we'll put it on the agenda for Thursday. Is that good?
Yeah, I can go print it. I mean, I have it here. We can discuss it. I can go print it if you'd like. Give me a few seconds. But basically, it went from 6 months to 12 months, and it's not to exceed 54,000. So I'll print it out, and if y'all don't want to vote on it, we can also table it if y'all would like.
Yeah, I think we should.
Just go ahead
Talk
and
about it.
add it to the agenda.
Yeah. Well,
All right, so we have a amendment to the agenda to add under Public Transportation Committee, the Bobby Boss extension. Any others? I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We got a motion. Do we got a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? All right. Up first, we have the Planning and Development Committee report. Lisa.
Mayor, we have nothing for planning and development this month.
Ooh, nice. All right, well, thank you so much. Up next, we have the Finance Committee report. Keith?
Thank you, Mayor. We have two items tonight. The first one is going to be the budget resolution. Danny went over the proposed budget for the 26-27 year last month, and just turn it over to him, see if there's any new updates or anything that needs to be talked about tonight.
I have nothing new to report. We'll be happy to answer questions.
I do have a couple of questions because it went so long last month. I didn't want to keep us going. So I just wanted to, there's just a couple of questions. One of them is on page 5. I'll just read the sentence. It says, finally, a new approach this year includes using available fund balance from previous budgets to support capital projects within both the enterprise funds and the general fund. And then it goes on to say ensuring that the long-term infrastructure needs are met. But it's a new approach, and it says you're going to be using available fund balance from previous budgets. Where did that money go in previous budgets?
So it sits in the general fund. It becomes your unassigned fund balance. They report every year at audit that. They'll tell you your fund grew by this amount of money. That's unassigned. It goes to unassigned. So what we're asking is to take the unassigned and assign it to a capital project.
Okay. And then the other one was, I wasn't clear the other night or last month when we were discussing this, because one of my questions, like I said, it just went so long, is there, I want you to show me a line item somewhere in here that shows me Paul's contract fee as a whole, because I did not see that anywhere.
Okay, one second. It's gonna be in two sections. It's gonna be, the first one's gonna be finance. It's gonna be in the budget book at page 184.
What's the account number, Danny?
Oh,
If you, it's okay.
I had to go over here and
I
find it.
can look it up by the page when I don't have my budget.
Well, it's not by account number, it just says professional services.
That's okay.
If you want an account number, I
What
have-
page did you say?
184.
Okay, I can find it.
It looks like this. You need to show you, or you want to see?
I've got it right here.
The
So,
professional services,
200, let's see,
246.
is that the total amount?
That is for the monthly amount. That's the 20,000 times 12. And if you go to legislative, page 170, it'll say legal expense.
Right,
That is for the pending litigation cases.
so that's in addition to
That's correct.
the 246? Okay,
And that's it.
What amount was that?
I'm sorry?
137,000.
137.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. And then I noticed, I know we talked a little bit about it. We've got small equipment fees spread out throughout all the departments, and somewhere where you total all that, you came up with $181,899 across all accounts for small equipment, but when I did it, I came up with $194,399, so I can't find $12,500 of small equipment, but I noticed that our small equipment costs have gone out the roof
Well,
on this,
108,000 of that is for the 4 police officers.
for their
For body,
equipment.
for everything they carry, from body cameras to vests to tasers. I don't know if pistols come out of that, or pistols come out of that, long rifles, all that comes out of that. That was page, page 207, 105,774. This is police department only. That's for the 4 police officers plus code enforcement.
Yeah, 105,774.
And then the rest
That's
is-
for the new three officers?
Yeah, 4 police officers, 1 code
Code
enforcement.
enforcement, yeah, okay. And then, I had asked you to bring me a copy last month of the budget resolution from previous years to compare it to the budget resolution of this year. Who writes our budget resolution?
Myself and Paul.
Okay. Did you want to ask a question about that, Patty?
I
about the-
did, but I wasn't listening to you. I'm over here doing math.
Well, I'm just asking
But I
about the
do-
budget.
I do have an issue.
I know you
with it.
do, and I do too, but I don't know, I feel like I don't want to take all the time. You ask that, and if you ask my question, then we're good. Go ahead with the
Now I
budget.
am confused. If I do that, and I'll answer your question and we're
No,
good.
you ask it, you may hit on the question I have, but,
Let me find it. I like to say I was doing math over here. Which, Danny, that 246, that's the math I'm doing on Paul's. It's 240, so I don't know where the 6 is coming from. I think Keith told me it's coming from the compromise Paul sent us. Is that what it's coming from?
20,500 is correct.
Okay. So you've accepted that compromise?
I budgeted that compromise.
Okay.
yes.
Well, Melanie, see, I'm not prepared, but where it
sorry.
says in there about, the question I asked you, Melanie, go ahead, because I'm just fumbling and making it.
well, I just don't like the wording of some of it. And I know it says in here that if we approve this budget, that we're approving everything in this budget, and I don't like that wording. I would like to.
Okay, found it.
Okay, go ahead then.
All the whereases, and then it says the amounts listed are the appropriations, any organizational chart. the amounts listed, and I'm making an assumption that means the amounts listed in the budget are the appropriations so authorized by the mayor and city council and are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. I don't know what those amounts encompass, so I don't like that sentence which obligates me to approving something when I don't know what's in that amount. Can we add to that, however, if, or something? Making sense?
Well, the charter dictates you have to approve an operating budget. So this budget can't include everything that may come up in 12 months because I have no idea what could or could not happen. So these are just budgets that are an educated assumption of what we're going to need based on previous history and what the department heads, say they need to operate their departments. I don't know what else to say, that anything outside of those amounts has to come before y'all for approval, because you are the only ones that can change the budget amount, not myself nor Natalie. As long as if it stays within the department and the department doesn't go over, say if you got the fire department's at $2 million, as long as they don't go over $2 million, they can move money from one line item to the next. But if at the end of the year, they spend $2,001,000, you would have to appropriate $1 because it went over what the budget says.
But what if we approved that 2 million by virtue of approving the budget? And that 2 million turns out to be a Cadillac for you, and we don't like that, and we don't want to approve that.
Well,
That this reads as though we have approved that budget and everything in it when we don't know what the tangible assets or expenses or anything are. We just see a great big number.
But anything that he purchases above his limit has to come before us anyway.
Right.
So,
And we're looking at the budget items. Excuse me, we're looking at the budget items that are listed in the budget, such as vehicles, software, and stuff like that. So all that is itemized throughout the budget. So,
It's not itemized and it's itemized maybe with numbers, but not with what it is. I mean,
Capital
other
items
than
are
the
in there.
broad topic, the accounting term. The reason, Danny, let me tell you another reason that I'm a little perplexed. Back to Paul's salary, and I found an email today when I was doing some studying that I had asked you why council did not approve, was not given the right to approve the raises that the firm got, the attorney got over the last 3 years. And you told me in the email that we approved it when we approved the budget.
Correct.
That's a bother to me, because we approved a salary, but we didn't know, we hadn't even seen the MOUs that had been updated. That's where this is coming from, and
Right.
this could happen throughout the budget. That-
So it is a line item, Paul's expense is a line item that you saw or did not see, but it's there. Anything outside of that was discussed in executive session, and he told y'all there would be a cost with that. He didn't know the exact cost, so that's why it went over. But his number is in there. It did go with the finance policy. It went to the finance chair. It went to myself. That's the policy I gave y'all 2 months ago to look over, to change how you will. So it was a policy that city council adopted in 2010. It's a policy that we've been following since. I believe Lisa asked for that policy. I sent to all y'all. It said make changes. We can make changes to that policy if y'all like. But other than bringing every single invoice to y'all, I don't know how to make this more clear. There's no way for me to do a budget, say this is everything we're gonna spend in the year. There's no way that you might can do that.
No, I'm just asking that the resolution statement be better defined, like, are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. However, if council should decide upon further examination that a certain expense is not agreeable to them, that was in the budget. I'm going on and on, but this is where Donnie needs to come in. But that just, then those amounts can be contested.
Well, I think when you get your financials every month and you vote on the financials every month, you could contest it.
Do
Or
we
you can-
vote on financials every month?
Every month you do.
I have a
I just
question.
see them in the packet. Are we voting on those?
You are.
I have
When
a
we say
question.
we accept the agenda, is that what when do we
It's
vote?
a consent
on it?
item.
Do we? Y'all,
Do we not have a bid process for any contracts that come on,
Let me just finish this. This is from May 14th, council minutes.
Yeah.
Item 2F, March 2026 financial report. It's the financial report that y'all get
Yeah.
that looks like,
The one
This?
that's in our packet today,
that's
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Now, we vote on that?
yes.
How do we vote on that?
It's always been a consent
It's the
item.
consent item that y'all look
Okay.
at. If you have
So-
questions, I guess you could raise them.
It's not a separate vote?
No, it's not.
That's what I'm trying to, okay.
If you want me to, Patty, I could call out minutes and financial reports at the end of each meeting, and we vote on it every time if you don't want me consent
No,
every
that's, I
time.
just wanted to make sure, I didn't remember a yay or nay vote. That's-
Yeah, we don't
when I-
usually
When
just
somebody says
consent.
vote, that's kind of what goes to my mind. But yeah, okay. I still, I'm just on record as saying that sentence is troublesome for me.
Well, the reason I think that I'm with you on that is because something will come before us that was, yes, it was in here, but I haven't asked how many miles are on the truck you replaced. I haven't asked all the questions, but yet we get told, well, you voted it in because you adopted the budget. I want something, like you said, that just because we do or do not adopt this budget, that we're not bound to buy those trucks and that equipment until the time comes that it comes before us and we have a discussion about it.
Yes. Like I said, every vehicle comes before y'all, every project comes before y'all. This is not something new that we've snuck in. This is just showing you what the budget looks like, outside of paychecks, health insurance, utility bills, Paul's, but now y'all are getting those MOUs because y'all made it abundantly clear that you wanted those and you got those. And you will continue to get those throughout the year, but short of those couple of line items, everything comes to y'all over 15,000. So yes, to answer your question, if I found a Cadillac for 14,000, I guess I could buy it. But I'm sure you have recourse for that too as well. So I don't know how.
I don't have it right now.
Yeah,
That's not company
So-
vehicle? then?
no, it's not. So,
Okay, I mean, I'm just apparently the only one, well, Melanie and I are the only ones troubled by it, so, I mean, we can move on.
So, I mean, I think the dilemma is you can't plan for everything that you're going to buy, correct? God forbid, the police department has to buy extra bullets. Well, Danny can't put how many bullets they're going to buy for this coming fiscal year. You just can't plan for it. So, I guess the mechanism is in place so that once it hits at 15 or over 15, up to 15. So anything over 15, he has to come back to y'all and y'all have to approve it, except for fuel. So there is a mechanism in place where y'all keep your hands on the reins for what is your budget. But if you sit here and ask him to tell you everything the city's going to buy for the next 12 months, then, we're going to be here for a little while tonight.
Well, I don't think we're asking for that. I think what it is, at least for me personally, the last 4 years, somebody comes in and wants to buy something, I go, well, you voted in the budget, it was in the budget. And I guess we don't want to hear that anymore if that's not
but
true.
I'm gonna correct you. Every vehicle has came to the city council. I have never
Right.
in 10 years bought a vehicle
But
or a
they're-
project that was not brought specifically
I
to
know.
y'all. There's nothing in here other than those few line items, health insurance, vehicle insurance, those standard bills that we get every month that doesn't come to y'all.
I'm not saying you
Okay.
are, so you're
Oh,
missing
okay.
what
I
I'm
thought you were-
saying. That is totally not what I'm saying. We get into a rub, and if people get their feelings hurt because, I'm gonna make up a department because I don't want to pick on anybody, the parade department comes in and they want to buy a truck. And we sit here and we look at it and we go, we don't justify that. And then the rub becomes, well, y'all voted it in the budget, it was in, so I don't know why you won't give them the truck. I mean, I think that's where, if I'm not mistaken, is that what where the rub comes in? That we get told that we voted it in, we voted in the budget, but yet we didn't look at the item at the time. And I know we have the right to turn it down, but then it becomes a rub. And I'm trying to avoid that rub because I get it, they need their equipment, but it's just the way it happens.
I think the rub for me is that it comes in and we're told we're gonna have to raise taxes. or, those phrases come in at the last minute right before we're starting the budget thing. That's where the rub gets. If you need a bucket truck, we need a bucket truck. But I don't want to be told that we can't afford police officers, we have to raise taxes, and then I start questioning the bucket truck. It's not that I don't want y'all to have a bucket truck. The rub is, when I question, I feel like I get the rub.
Well, y'all also understand that we're doing a budget that we have no idea what the digest is gonna be until September, now probably October. So do you know how incredibly hard it is to do a $62 million, or $18 million budget, not knowing what the digest is gonna be, who pays over 50%? The reason we put these projects in here is so y'all do know, because it's a lot harder to say, this is not a budgeted item. And then your next question to me is, what? Why is it not a budgeted item, Danny? Why did you not see this coming? Why did you not see replacing 4 vehicles? That's why it's in the budget. So we don't get our feelings hurt when y'all ask questions at all. I don't know what that misconception is, but it's a tool that we have to do when we know we got to replace stuff, because these are the people that know what needs to be replaced, not me, not even y'all. They're the ones that say, hey, Danny, we really need this. And then it's our job, my job, to say, okay, what's the priority? Because trust me, I've been doing this job for 28 years and not had one single council says, Danny, please raise taxes this year. I've been doing this job for almost 10 years as city manager, and I've only raised taxes one time. And that was handed to me from another administration that spent a lot of money in a couple of years. That's the only reason we raised taxes. So for since 2018, y'all have reduced the millage rate every single year. We're below 10 mills now. That hasn't been done since the 80s.
Yeah, and Danny, I have no
Right.
problem with a big number. I don't think we're here, at least my role is not here to dissect and ask you 1,000 questions on what's in here. But the big number at the end, I feel like that's what we're approving, and then there's policies in place all year long. Your spend limit, for example, contracts have to come before us. An MOU, for example, doesn't have to come before us, and maybe that's something we need to fix, or we need to change. And that takes care of that one of those rubs.
And it's already been fixed.
It's been
That issue
fixed.
has been addressed.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that for months now. It's been addressed.
Well, I'm not saying did we fix it or not, I'm just saying that's the example
Yeah.
I'm using.
Right. Trust me, we heard y'all.
Yeah, I know, thank you.
Are you saying, Danny, the ordinance has been fixed, the MOU and contract ordinance?
I'm saying as long as I'm your city manager, every MOU I get from a city attorney will come before the 7 elected officials.
Amen.
Matter of fact, I said, don't even send them to me, send them to them.
He did.
He did.
The last one, he did.
We did both of them.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, he
There
did.
were 2.
Trust
Yep.
me.
Yep, you did. I give you credit for that, yes.
All right, any more questions about the budget?
No.
All right, so we're gonna move on from that. We can vote on that on Thursday, correct? All right. Next, we have, sorry, Keith.
We've got one more thing.
Sorry, my bad.
No problem. The next thing on here is the quotes from the city insurance premiums. The new premium's gonna be $701,932. According to the paperwork, it's an increase of 9.46%. It's not bad considering the way the industry's going these days. It's not a bad increase. They looked at, in the paperwork, it says that they looked at the increase in the deductibles to kind of offset, but it didn't really pan out to make it worth it. So turn it back over to Danny for any other questions or anything that somebody may have.
You have any questions, or you me just tell you kind of where we got here? So we started a little bit earlier this year with Partners Risk. They went out and sent a proposal to everyone that insures multiple municipal cities. They got a few back. It was in the low 20% increase until one other company came and submitted a bid that was lower than Travelers. Travelers didn't like that, so they came in lower. And that's before y'all tonight is a small increase. A lot of cities were faced with a 20% increase, but fortunately we were staying at 9% increase. But we did look at changing the deductibles, but the cost savings for every vehicle we wrecked, it was going to be a $10,000 deductible, and it was only going to save us $10,000 over the long of the year. So it's really not worth $10,000, spending $10,000 to save $10,000 if you have multiple wrecks. That's really about it. It's the same company we have currently, Travelers. And you can see the companies that were mentioned in the background. That's some that they reached out to. Some we were too small for, some we were too big, and some were just absolutely outrageous coverages, especially for wind and hail.
Just going back to that, did the insurance company ever come out and do a walk, you said, I think you had them come out and check all the properties, make sure we're paying insurance on what we have and took off some things that aren't on there? We went through that process,
We went through
correct?
that last year. We made a detailed list. The issue was there was a lot of buildings at the plant that were not identified. They were just one address. So what I did was every building now has an address, well, with the insurance company, so they went through that. We went through every single building. I gave that to Jeff. He kind of took lead this year. He talked with them. There were still some things we had to change. Like the new library is not currently on here because it's currently under the contractors, but they know when it comes online, we'll have to add that, but it's not gonna raise the rates significantly at all, not even to, because I asked that question. But we won't know that until it turns over to us. Right now, the contractor has the insurance on it. That's the only building that's not on here that's, will be on here. And then, you know, we'll still have to insure the old library until y'all just make a decision what to do with that. But we will still cover the building until it's whatever y'all decide to do.
Any more questions on that?
And we did confirm that this covers the DDA. Because they are an entity of the city.
All right. No other questions? Would it be okay to put this on consent?
Everybody go with consent?
Awesome, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you, Keith. Up next, we have the Public Safety Committee Report. Melanie Long.
Well, thank you, Brandon, and there's 3 items for discussion. They're not necessarily public safety. But when I sent Danny an email last week just to make sure that some topics we wanted to discuss were on here, I think that's why he put them under me. So the first one is a discussion about the contract or the MOU with Rosenthal and Wright. And so I know, Lisa, you originally, you were out with your dad. So I'm going to just hand it off to you to go ahead and get that conversation started if you want to.
Yeah, no, the only thing that I think I just said a few minutes ago was that I was just a little uneasy with the amount of increases from 2015 to now that didn't come before council. And like you said, there is a fix in place, but I'd like to see us take a step further, that we turn that into an ordinance or an official policy or something, so that I'm not always going to be here and you're not always going to be here, so that policy continues.
So if you like, I could take that financial policy y'all have and change that section where it says it goes to the, because we don't have chairs no more. We can just say it goes to the council.
Then we have, I mean, why not piggyback off the ordinance that talks about where contracts come before us? Why not contracts and MOUs?
What's it? What contracts? Professional services contracts or what?
Well, we don't have a contract is
Correct.
one portion of it, but I think your best fit to put it in your financial policy as just one of your internal SOPs, and then that takes care of it.
Then why don't we
That would
put
always be the
contracts?
deal.
I'm just curious how this works. Why wouldn't we put contracts in the financial policy?
It is.
But it's also an ordinance?
No, I don't believe it's an ordinance, because an ordinance is a law, where a policy is like an internal law, but it's not an ordinance. There is conversation or topics about how contracts should be publicly bid and things like that, but it would go under the financial policy that council would adopt,
Okay.
which
Well-
makes it a policy.
When you gave us this policy, whatever it was, a couple months ago, and I did read through it, and I thought we were going to bring it up for discussion, we never did. But I know when you did it, you referred to the page 10, and you referred to paragraph 3 under purchase orders, and you said that covers your MOUs and your contracts. And I've read this 1,000 ways to Sunday, and I don't see it in there. So is that the paragraph you plan to? Yeah, because I made a note that day, that's where you said that covered MOUs.
Which paragraph, Melanie?
The third paragraph on page 10. The night that he handed us that, he told Lisa, he said, your question about the MOUs was in that paragraph.
Yeah.
Page 10. This is the paragraph we said covered our MOUs.
Y'all still looking, because there is, Danny, an ordinance, for the city manager's powers and duties. And in there, number
Correct.
10. Are you still reading,
No,
Danny?
he's reading
Yeah, I
that
am.
financial thing that he gave us a
Oh,
couple months
okay,
ago. Did you
okay.
bring yours with you?
No,
Okay.
which is why I'm lost. Again.
Well, I keep bringing it every meeting because I think we were going to eventually discuss it.
Well, bingo tonight then, huh? No, I don't have mine.
Monty, will you ask that question one more time?
I don't know that I asked a question particularly, but that was the paragraph that he referred to that said, he told Lisa, and we'd have to go back and watch the meeting, but he said page 10, paragraph 3, that's what covers your MOUs.
Okay, I understand. Got it. Thank you.
But there was nothing that I saw in there. As a matter of fact, I didn't really see anything
Is
in
it
the
a
whole
long
document.
paragraph? Can you read it out loud?
You want to read it, Lisa, because mine's over there with Danny
So
now?
it says here that at discretion of the city manager, individual budgeted items approved through the budget process and therefore included in the final budget that exceed the $15,000 limit can be purchased in the same manner above as a copy of the purchase order given to the finance chairperson as a reminder and approval to reveal the exact date and order. A copy of such should be provided to the financial officer committee, the mayor, and the entire, if advised by the financial chairperson or city manager to do so.
Right, but
That is that paragraph.
Yeah, but it didn't specifically address MOUs or contracts.
No, it addressed the dollar amount and things
Right.
that were specifically budgeted. Budgeted.
But I think the issue would be that if,
We can add MOUs to this.
and contracts,
if y'all like.
okay. Thank you.
So if y'all can send us a list of what you would like to see, so we can draft it, and we can send that all to y'all and let you review it. And then when the time comes, the council would approve that.
We do have an ordinance with your powers and duties, Danny.
Correct.
You're correct, you know that. And it probably should be in here too. This is more legal, isn't it?
It's in there too, it's 15,000 is my limit.
No, I mean, the number 10 on the list says examine all proposed contracts. It doesn't say anything about MOUs, so you might want to add it there.
You're talking about in the charter.
Yes. the
Yes, no, we're
legal-
talking about two different documents at
I
this
know,
point.
but the-
I know, I'm just for the public
Oh,
to know.
okay. It only mentions contracts. So do you mind, that may have to be done legally since it's an ordinance, I guess, Donnie, huh?
So they cannot be a contract because they're set by the charter. So that's why it's an MOU, not a contract.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
Oh,
She's-
okay.
Yeah, she's saying in addition to contracts, MOUs also
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
come
well,
forth.
that's why I said we'll add that along with contracts.
Yeah, and it's in the
ordinance.
charter.
It's in the charter.
Okay,
She wants
I
to
can't
fix it
get
in the
server,
charter.
so I'd pull it up for you.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Can
we'll have
we-
to change that too.
Okay, add that
Yeah,
word.
that'll have to
MOU.
come from y'all as well. Because that's an ordinance. Or if it's a charter, I have to look and see if it's under the home rule.
Under the home rule?
Because you can't legally change your charter without going to the state of Georgia unless it's a home rule item.
Oh, hold on.
So I have to go look and see.
Georgia Code of Ordinances, but that doesn't mean
Oh, that's
it's
the
not
ordinance
a,
then.
it doesn't mean it's, yeah, I don't know, I can't answer that for you. It probably is the charter, because that's where you're listed, I think, and council's listed.
okay, so, all right, so that's part of it. Did you want to hit the other part of? Look at you, no, go ahead. All right, y'all are gonna hang me out to dry after y'all promised y'all would participate. Okay.
Melanie, I'm not hanging anyone out, I'm not here to hang anyone out to dry. I have some issues that troubled me, and I just want to get them before and get them
Correct.
fixed. And one of them is putting MOUs before council before They're just buried in this budget that none of us have caught the last 2 years. That's an issue I'd like to see us fix, and it sounds like we're working on that.
Okay.
We're moving in the right direction.
Patty, did you want to address the other issue?
I'm getting real confused on what the issues are at the moment.
Well, at this point, it's Paul's contract. That's what we're talking about, or
It's not a-
Rosenthal and Wright's contract, excuse me, let me be
MOU.
specific.
So,
MOU.
y'all
Yeah,
know-
MOU, yes.
Okay, I would like, based on the issues that I feel we've had, not being given the MOUs, not approving the MOUs, raises being given out that we did not approve, because we didn't even know they were being given out. And I've gone and inquired about other salaries around the area of city attorneys, and we are way higher than, except for Monroe. Monroe's paying $420,000 a year, I think, for the Rosenthal form. It's like $35,000 a month. They're just an outlier, so I just kind of discounted Monroe because nobody's paying anywhere close to that. So I just didn't even deal with Monroe. But let me see where I can find. Most of the other counties are like nowhere near what we're paying.
Other cities? You said counties, you mean other cities?
Cities, I'm sorry, yes. Well, and county, Walton County pays 26, give or take $1,000 a month, Walton County with their population. And we're paying Paul, we thought we were gonna be paying him $23,000, his initial presentation to us. That's very close to the county, and we're talking county-wide. We're not talking about a city, we're talking about the county. That's one comparison, but we are way higher than all the other cities. I would like to present the possibility of doing an RFQ for city attorney and see what we get, if we get, and what the going rate is and that sort of thing. I think that keeps us more involved. That allows us to protect the citizens a little bit better, knowing that we're paying a fair price for services rendered. That's where I'm going with this. I would like to do an RFQ. What could it hurt? Because, you know, y'all could still come in and be hired. But I think at that point, we would know what the going rate was, because I would presume that we would get bids for city attorney.
Yeah, I too would like to scratch that itch to see, you know, where we fall. And I also would like to, somewhere in here, I think it says that your, the limit, anything over 250 goes out to public bid.
I don't know if that includes professional services, though.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe we could work on changing that so it defines that. Anything
That's a
over.
state law, so y'all could put that, I'm assuming. in an
So the state
ordinance.
law is going to trump anything that we have in here?
Well, I'm saying that 250 is a state law. I don't know if we have one in our ordinance. I have to look and see.
Okay.
But if we choose to do an RFQ, is there
RFQ,
anything that would
RFP?
prohibit that?
Which one do you do on a professional services? Do you do a RFP or an RFQ?
So,
Just out of curiosity, where did you get your Walton County figure from?
From Walton County, I did an ORR.
Okay, they may have it broken down. I'd have to check, but
They may have what?
They may have it broken down into various categories, but I'm relatively certain, although I will have to verify that they pay considerably amount more money than that.
You mean total?
For
Yeah.
their attorney services.
I will, you can come see my, when we.
Oh, no, I got faith in,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
what, but.
That's where I got the number though,
um,
from an ORR directly from them.
The last figure that I'm aware of is considerably higher than what y'all pay us currently.
Okay.
What are some of the other cities that you have numbers on? Can
Hold
we
on, I'm
get
looking for
those?
mine. Okay, who is this? This is Snellville. Snellville pays, for January, February, March, they paid $14,161. For January, February, and March, we paid $60,000. That's Snellville. And that's assuming these figures are correct. You know, when you do an ORR, you look at what you get,
Well, but that 100% true. There can be a delineation in how your attorneys bill each month. We, several years ago, decided to go flat fee because it was easier for the cities. It allows you to budget for attorney's fees. Many cities don't do flat fees, which
Snellville does
means
not. Good
one
point.
month you might get a bill for 14,000, next month you might get a bill for 54,000. It all just depends on how much work you're requesting from your attorney's office. So
That's true. I mean,
that-
I agree.
and I've been here long enough or worked this job long enough to know that that is the way that we used to invoice City of Monroe, was we separated out variety of categories as to how they asked us to do our work. And we found it considerably better for the city if we just say, hey, here's our fee, and you get as much work out of us, more or less, with certain exceptions, as you can get within that fee. So it was better for our cities who want to budget a certain amount and say, here's how much we're willing to pay, rather than one month it's 14 and the next month it's 54,000. So that's the reason we do it the way we do it.
Well, just to clarify too, I mean, because everybody else is watching too, and the word salary's been thrown out there. It's not. What the fee covers is, it covers attorneys' times, their paralegals, their administrative, and they're all working. So that's what we're paying for, is the Rosenville right, the service. Whereas there are probably other cities that are probably paying a fee for a single attorney or something. I don't know. But you threw out RFQ. RFQ means request for qualification. So on a qualifications-based selection, you're looking for somebody that's qualified.
So what would we do?
I meant
they're qualified.
RFP, yeah, RFP.
RFP.
Well, RFP, so it's kind of the same deal. So, but your price shopping is what you're doing.
Right.
And, you know.
Well, I would actually like, while we're doing it for the contract, or the MOU, the agreement with an attorney, I'd like to also see where we stand on hiring a staff attorney. I think we would benefit from having somebody that is here. I know Robbie leans heavily on our legal department, so I'd like to put out see what we can get on that. I mean, we may find out that where we're at is where we should be, but just in some of the research I did, I just feel like and I think, Lisa, you did the math, and in the 3 years that we've used Rosenthal and Wright, the fees have gone up 53%. And, you know, as far as I'm aware, we've never gone through the process of putting out whatever we're going to call this, asking for people to apply or whatever. It's smart business. It shows the taxpayers that we are serious about spending their money wisely. I think, Lisa, you referred to it as a sanity check.
Yeah, and I'm not sold on the staff attorney. I just don't think we're going to save any money on that. I would like a sanity check on this, and then Bill, you just said that their fees include this, that, and the other, and paralegals. Well, the new contract does not include paralegals. It's $250 an hour now for paralegal.
So that's,
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
$115 for
Go ahead.
paralegal.
Our MOU certainly certainly includes our paralegal time.
yeah.
It doesn't. Okay, so this. Okay, we'll see again. This.
Should be on top there.
It just. How do I know that's outside? Are you saying anything that we pay for litigation? Because.
Yeah, if you fall into one of the exceptions as to what our standard fee is per month, so if you get into litigation, for instance, then those are the rates you're looking at for how much we bill per hour on one of your exceptions. You're certainly, as far as the standard work that we do for you each month, yes, that's me and Paul
Okay.
and our paralegals.
Okay, well, it jumped out of me because that was the first time we saw it in y'all's contracts or MOUs.
I'm not certain. Maybe it changed since 2023 as far as what our rate is, but I don't know why it's.
Well, not the rate. It's adding in the $115 per hour for the paralegal.
Paralegal is included in their normal fee. What's not included, we talked about on
Yeah, any litigation that the firm handles been out
Yeah,
above items.
I get that, but the last sentence is 115 per hour for paralegals. I don't believe that was included in any of the previous MOUs.
Is that the new, the one where Paul is going 20,500 and doing the COLA?
Yes.
Yeah, he did separate out paralegal in that one. I remember that, because I thought the same thing you're thinking,
Well,
Lisa.
It's not separate, it's when they go
What I'm looking at is on
above.
page 7, and it says outside of the normal.
What I'm
Right.
saying is that new language is in the newest MOU. It's not in the previous, so it kind of jumped out to me because the paralegal fees are now above and beyond, even though it's in
She's
litigation.
correct. But we haven't accepted that contract, so,
MOU.
I mean, it's in the budget, but we've not approved it. So maybe we can deal with that, don't you think? Hey, Donnie, by the way, I'm back, I found my stuff on the county. I've got 3 years, and there's no particular large expense other than the monthly fee that stands out. But I do want you to look at it, because I don't know what they've sent, I mean, you know better in the
Well, and I
county
don't know,
you're
you may be
working.
exactly right. However, sometimes they break things down, for instance, the way that we used to with, it was kind of general attorney work, then we had utility work, and then we had soliciting work.
Yeah, they're breaking it down,
Okay,
but it's not real high amounts.
Okay.
What I tried to do, Donnie, was compare fee to fee, apples to apples. And the county doesn't have probably any more peripheral expenses, for lack of a better word, than we do in comparison to the size of the city versus the county. Because we have those expenses too, in addition to what we're quoting as the fee amount. We also get billed for photocopies and various things that can add up, some litigation, we've already identified that in the budget. So we too deal with that, just like all these other cities do.
right.
Yeah, just point that out, but I do want you to look at it.
Okay.
Brandon, you asked me what cities, we getting off track. What city is this?
You gave me Walton County and Snellville.
Okay, this is, oh, this is Winder. Winder paid, a lot of theirs was, a lot of the big amounts were like 76,000 of the amount I'm going to give you was for litigation. So that's, I pulled that out because, well, I'm giving you the total amount, but litigation is something we too would have to pay for. I mean, you know, if we went down that road of lawsuits. But anyway, Winder paid a total of general fees, $225,000, and I'm just rounding off numbers, for 3 years. That's Winder. Okay? And we paid that for 1 year, close to it. I think I've got Grayson, and that's the only other one. Grayson's, I myself am not putting a lot of stock in it because it's kind of crazy. But if you add up their numbers for 3 years, it's $34,566. That just seems out of the realm of a dream. I mean, that, you know, but that's the number. I'm giving you the number that I
I
got.
came up with 66,000 something on Winder, on Grayson.
You did? Okay.
66,000, and that was for 3 years. It was from January 1st of 2023 till this billing cycle.
Okay.
And it was 66,000. I'm sorry, $62,099.06.
Okay.
And that went from February 16th of 2023 through 3/16 of '26, when they used an attorney, an attorney group. And then in March of this year, they changed to a different attorneys group. And so they've only, so March, April, and May of this year, they've only paid $800 in legal fees, all totaled. So the two together is $62,099.06. But, so that's what I'm saying. I want to just see what's out there, to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. Like I said, to my knowledge, we've never gone through this process. And I would like to see both the MOU type situation, but I would also like, I mean, if we can put it out there, it's not gonna hurt to take in numbers for a staff attorney to see where we're at. So, I mean, that's my thoughts.
I agree. I don't see where it would be an issue. I mean, it'll come back how it comes back, and we'll have facts in front of us, and we'll have documentation in front of us. We don't have that now.
Right.
Except we do have the documentation from the cities, but it's so much less. To me, that just proves that we need to do something. I mean,
I would like to, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see us freeze the MOU with Rosenthal and Wright at their existing rate of $20,000 and go to a month-to-month basis, which I understand that they're at, you know, they work at our pleasure anyway, while we go through the process of putting out a competitive bid.
Yeah, I think we'd have to.
Yeah. But I don't want to put the new amount out there. I would stay just what we have now, the 20,000 on a month-to-month, and let's work through the competitive bid process.
There is a paragraph in the policy that says, request for proposal, it's suggested that whenever appropriate, an RFP process can be used for procuring products and services. So to me, that's just a suggestion there that if we feel like we need to use it, we need to use it. And in this case, I feel like it'd be a good sanity check just to see what's out there. I'm not saying we need to go out there and make a change. Paul's firm's done good, but I think there's we should look at it.
should we go for a motion?
Aye.
Or y'all want to,
You got any, you want to add to it?
So,
I'm good with it.
but his document right now says he's changing to 20,500 per month, right? Is that what?
That's the latest one. Yeah, that's the COLA one, Bill.
Right.
Where he's going to get 2 and some odd percent
So,
increase.
right, so what's the issue of, we carry forward with this, and if you're wanting to go, and I don't understand why, this is not an agreement for the next 3 years, it's telling what he proposes,
Month to month, right?
month to month, I mean, so what are you asking for as far as this goes?
Well, I'm asking to freeze it at the 20,000 that he currently is and go on month to month. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we're not
But they
taking
didn't
any of his
propose
money.
No, we're not going backwards. He's making, his.
So you're asking to negotiate?
Well, I'm asking to hold it at 20,000 until we go through the process. After the process, we may have to go up. We don't know. You know, we don't know what that's gonna look like at the end of time.
He's still going to get his money.
He's getting his money.
Until we did all the RFQ, or Rs, whatever we're going to
Or,
call it.
yeah, the bid
Come
process.
in,
Let's just call it
yeah,
the competitive
until the
bid
bidding
process.
process is done.
So when y'all do that, are y'all doing a sealed bid process, or is it gonna be
I
attorney,
don't
and
know how
how's
the
that work?
process works. That's something we'll have to work through.
I mean, everybody knows what the price is, because we've talked about it for months now, so if I'm an attorney, I'm gonna start at $20,000.
You mean if you were bidding? Well, obviously, well, maybe not so obvious, but if you're putting out a bid and the current attorney's making 20,000, that ought to tell somebody that we have a concern somewhere in all of it.
Well, I mean, there's other attorneys out there working
So if they bid
cheaper.
20,000, chances are we're gonna,
Yeah.
I don't know. It couldn't hurt, it just absolutely couldn't hurt, I don't think, unless you've got something to say that I'm not aware of.
I'll just need to know if you want an hourly rate or a month base rate. Because I can tell you from experience, we call the attorney every single day. Somebody in this room calls the attorney every day. That didn't happen before.
And that's why I'd like to look
So-
at a staff attorney.
So do you want a month, you want a flat fee, or do you want an hourly rate? How would y'all like to have the bill?
I
I'll need to know that.
would do a flat fee and then do a staff attorney just to get a quote and
Yeah,
see.
just to see where we're at.
you
I'm in
stand on
favor of
numbers.
a monthly. flat
Your
fee.
staff attorney's gonna be at least more than what I make. I can tell you that now. I mean, nobody's gonna come in.
Plus benefits,
benefits.
retirement.
I get it.
Again, it's, how much does it cost to put out the thing to take in bids on something like that? Is that, what does it cost us to do that?
For which part? The attorney?
To put out something for, say, that we were looking for a staff attorney, what does it cost us to?
There's not a bid for a you don't do a bid for employees. You would post a job.
All right, so what does that cost to do that?
Nothing. You just
Then-
post
then-
it
then-
out.
So what does it hurt to put it out there and see what we
Well, it
get?
costs
Because I don't
Danny's
know
time to
the-
interview.
I don't know the qualifications of an attorney, and I'll do what you ask me to do.
All right,
If you're
so,
looking at doing a staff attorney, then you've got to come up with a job description. You've got to come up with pay. You've got to come up with benefits. All that's got to be done before you start looking for anybody to come back and respond. I mean, I don't understand why we want to go looking for somebody else when we know we have a reputable, good attorney service for the city and have for several years. I just don't
Yeah, Keith,
understand.
totally agree. Good, reputable, yes, but the numbers here, for me, I just want to do a sanity check, make sure we're in line with others.
all right, so, oh, I'm sorry, Lisa.
That's okay. I mean, I think do we all not agree on that we need to
Yes,
be in line?
I wasn't thinking correctly, though, about the staff attorney. I've learned tonight, which is good,
So it sounds
that's
like,
gonna be a little more complex as far as, the staff and the this and the that. I say we just scrap that idea, because it is a staff member, and Danny would have to interview for an attorney. I mean, it wouldn't be a matter of what the attorney's gonna charge us, it would be a matter of what we're gonna pay him or her. And we don't know anything about that. So let's just stick with the monthly fee.
Well, then I wrote a
like-
motion, and if, we'll
Okay,
just,
go
let
ahead.
me just throw it out there. So as we've discussed tonight, MOUs have not been required by our charter or ordinance to come before council, and as a result, we've incurred significant increases in our legal services each year since 2023. Because of this large expense, council makes the motion to extend the current MOU between the City of Loganville and Paul Rosenthal of Rosenthal Wright Attorneys at Law to a month-to-month basis at the existing rate of $20,000 per month while we work through the competitive bid process.
all right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
So
My-
just to be clear, what your motion is the reason is because of the MOU process and not being informed, is that the reason? I mean,
No.
It's like two different things. You've
No,
got that.
I'm prefacing my motion with why I'm making the motion. And so the reason I'm making the motion is for the last 3 years, it's just, there's been no checks and balance on that. It's just been approved, and the cost went up 53%. And in researching other municipalities, realizing in the same 3-year period where we've paid almost $1 million, I think $700,000, $800,000, other municipalities in that same time frame have only paid $300,000, $400,000, and we want to see what's out there. So Paul Rosenthal Wright remains our attorney, but at their current rate of $20,000 while we work through a competitive bid process. At the end of this, and I'm hoping that Rosenthal Wright will put in a bid, they may be the one, but we've done our due diligence. We've let our citizens know that, hey, look, we've noticed an exponential increase in these things in a budgeted item, and we're going to look into this and make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. And so my motion is just prefaced with why I'm making the motion.
Well, I guess I couldn't differentiate between what you prefaced with the motion
Okay.
and what the motion
Okay.
was, because
Well-
it sounded to me like
So
you
you just
said.
restate
because
it.
of
Okay, then I
something
will
that-
just go back and say, the whole thing? As we have discussed tonight, MOUs are not required by our charter or ordinance to come before council. As a result, we have incurred significant increases in our legal services each year since 2023. Because of this large expense, council makes the motion to extend the current MOU between the City of Loganville and Paul Rosenthal of Rosenthal Wright Attorneys at Law to a month-to-month basis at the existing rate of $20,000 per month while we work through the competitive bid process.
That's your motion?
That is my motion.
Second, or third, because I've already made a
Yeah, I
second.
was going to say, it's already a motion on the floor and already seconded. We're just wanting to get it reread for everybody. All right, so I have a
And
motion and a second.
I mean, I certainly want a value for our citizens, and, you know, we go through this process, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be.
It will be.
It will be, for sure.
But it's never been done before, so,
Well, with us, right.
right.
And I would just like to say, for the record, staff did exactly what city council directed us to do by sending that to the chair of the finance. So it seems like this was done and not in the light, but it was. We did exactly what the city policy that the city council approved. So I just want to make sure. we
And I
understand that.
100% agree, and I've said that from the beginning. We can't expect code enforcement to go out and enforce code if we don't put a policy and something in the ordinance. Same thing with Dean, that's why I'm asking. I just think we need to change it in here.
All right, so while we're still in discussion, I only got one thing that I would like to bring up about this is making it at 20K. We don't have an offer from them. That's like starting a negotiation back
Right.
at 20K instead of the, what is it, the 23 or 22, whatever it is now.
Well, what he has
So-
is 20,500. I don't understand why you don't make the motion for that, and then that's the month for a whole year. I mean,
Because we haven't accepted that MOU, I want to call it a contract, but
Correct.
council has not approved
Yeah,
that
but-
MOU.
no, I get that.
But if you go to McDonald's and the burger is $2, you say, give me that, I'm only gonna pay you $1 because that's what it used to be. They're not gonna give you the dollar, or they're not gonna give you the hamburger. You see, like, they made a bid or in the MOU for a certain price. We don't have to like that price, that's why we're shopping the price. But if we don't accept that price or start a negotiation process with that, then how are we going to have a city attorney while we're going through this process? You can't just dictate a term to somebody who has put out there what they're willing to be paid for.
Because we're paying them based on the contract that is currently in
That's out.
existence, which is the 20,000.
Which, when does
Well,
that
we're
run out?
extending that contract. And respectfully, Mr. Mayor, we have a motion on the floor in a second. Can you go ahead and take the vote?
So,
It's still discussion.
Okay.
So this is how we can do a motion, you get a second, and then there's discussion on the floor, and then it goes for a final vote. So this was my only clarification is, if we make this for 20,000, that's not the offer that they gave the city. But we're not negotiating, we're telling them, we're paying you $20,000, like it or not. And if they leave, we have no city attorney until we hire a city attorney. If anything, I think we would negotiate a price between the 20 and what is in the contract, other than dictating a price. But that's all I was gonna say on discussion. Any more discussion before we hold the vote?
And can we ask for Donnie's opinion since law firm's here tonight? I mean,
Well, you know, my concern more so is really just how it's affecting your budget. It's time for you, you know, this week to approve a budget. So come Thursday night, it's going to look one way or the other, and Danny has to adjust accordingly. So what y'all decide as far as whether it's $20,000 or $20,500, I'm happy to be here. If you don't want me here, then I'll leave. But, you know, that's really probably the bigger issue, is not the approval of the MOU. What are you doing with your budget?
Right.
And the budget was 204, was 20,000 a month, right,
It was
Danny?
20,500.
It was what he budgeted for the
Okay.
20,000.
20,500, that's in the budget.
But we're not,
We're not gonna pay the extra 500 according to that motion, Melanie Long's motion. So, all right, so we got a motion, we got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
aye.
All right, so that is 4-2. All right, up next, Melanie Long.
okay, here we go again. So the next discussion we wanted to have is the discussion for fees of use of city property. And that goes back, we're going back several years now. And when we were reviewing the budget, it had the list of fees for the different services in there. And we were told last budget that they would write the service fees for city-used properties, and it wasn't in here. And so I'm bringing it up because we've got a piece of property that's being used, and I think it's going to become a problem sooner rather than later. And so I wanted to bring forth a discussion for fees for using city property for personal, anybody that wants to use it. So, does anybody want to start the conversation?
Well, I think we need to charge.
We definitely need to charge.
What
That's
property are we talking about?
Are all property.
All
property.
properties.
But there
City
seems to be,
property.
there seems to be one that's brought this up, though.
Yeah. 254 Main, dumpster, yeah. Well, no, it started with a lot of construction equipment sitting in the vacant lot. I think's when all the discussions started.
Yeah, it started 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
And then there was a business owner that wanted to use city property behind their business, and they were told at that time that they would have to pay to use that. And then, of course, you and I, Patty, I think, and whoever else got on that and said, no, that's not fair. And so that was retracted, because when you had a council member that was using property for their own gain and benefit, and then you wanted to charge a citizen, a business owner that actually had a business that is going, you wanted to use them, and we said no. And I think that was another time that we said, well, let's come up with these, and it's gone on now for quite a while. And so I think it's time to look at deciding what's going to be done with 254 or all the city properties, actually, any parking lot, anything that's not listed specifically in the budget as a service fee, has to have some sort of value.
So we're gonna start charging for parking spaces too?
I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
I get it. So when I bought a building in downtown Loganville, I put a dumpster on 254 property. When I did that, I made sure I called and made sure it was okay to put it there. And there's never been a fee before for putting dumpsters or anything on said city property, because if one is going to spend money in downtown Loganville to revitalize the downtown area, I would think it'd be good for the city to allow certain things to happen. And if it was because it was me, it might be part of the issue. Or say it was somebody else in downtown who was redoing a business and needed to put a dumpster somewhere. Yes, it has been a while. We put a fence around it. We're trying to make it as good looking as possible. Stuff like that. The construction was there for, a little while, but it's not there anymore. And I feel like that would be something we would put in place for any business in downtown Loganville, because there is a limitation when you buy a building in a downtown area that you do not have an area to put a dumpster unless you use said city lot, and we have to use the city dumpsters. So it's nothing that I went and tried to abuse power or anything like that to put a dumpster on property. If I wasn't on council and I bought that building, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have called the city and asked, hey, I'm reinvesting in downtown Loganville. I don't have anywhere on the property to put said dumpster. Where should I put this dumpster? And is it okay if I put it here?
What's the dumpster for? And is it temporary?
So it is actually not even mine, it's for the business owner, for the owners of Tacos and Beer.
Okay.
So it's not even me, it would be them that would have to pay whatever fee that is coming on. So it's really just more so attacking the business owners of who is investing money and coming in downtown. And what kind of, is that going to send to future business owners that want to come redo their spaces in downtown? Yes, I do agree, it's been a long time. But at the same time, are we gonna do this carte blanche for everybody? And if we're gonna do that, is that gonna be welcoming new businesses to want to come in and fix up buildings that are going to have to get dumpsters?
So are you saying that it's there temporarily while they do construction? Because
Yes.
that's what you're indicating.
Yeah, so it's always been a
Which
construction
means
dumpster.
it will be moved the
Yes.
day the doors open. So where are you
Yes.
gonna put the dumpster for all the food and grease and mess that comes out of a restaurant?
That's up to them, it's whatever the city and that's on them at this point. You know, we got a trash can when I opened my business in downtown. They gave us a trash can and we only go through about 2 bags a week, so we use that trash can. Currently, the other restaurant in downtown Loganville is using, do you know, Danny? It is an excessive. 6 or 7, and they have to get that picked up every week or more than once a week? Every week. So they're probably gonna have to do the same thing, but put it next to the side of the building on trash pickup day.
So
There
you mean
are-
put it back there behind your building,
No,
a
it'll
row
be
of
up
trash
against the wall.
cans?
There's certain zones where
Gotcha.
the trash cans will be picked up at, and you can't keep it behind the buildings. It has to be certain areas. Because even all the buildings on that side, except for the very end, if they don't, they do have room for a small dumpster in the back of one of the businesses on the other end. They don't have that dumpster anymore, but they use cans, and they come and put it next to my buildings currently on the weekends for Monday pickup. So
Okay.
tacos would have to do that same thing.
Okay.
Unless, and I'm not trying to get off topic here, I promise. There are some towns that will utilize their DDAs, like I believe it is Winder. I went and looked at a couple of theirs in Winder. They got communal dumpster spaces just for their city businesses.
I think
And
that's
they
And that's
are
what I was sitting there thinking.
That's where I think
attractive
we
and
need to
very
go.
I think
nice.
we're unveiling a bigger problem here as we
Yes.
develop downtown,
And a lot of the business owners have talked to us about this.
and we need to fix that.
Right.
Yeah. So if it's just a temporary dumpster,
But I do want to go back to the issue at hand, because for 3 years, I have said that your use of 254 Main Street's been a conflict of interest, so I pulled the city charter, and this is what it says about city-owned properties. No elected official, appointed officer, or employee of the city of any agency or entity to which this charter applies shall use property owned by such government for personal benefit, convenience, or profit, except in accordance with policies promulgated by the city council or the governing body of agency or entity. Well, that right there is a pure definition of what you've done for 3 years. And you're gonna tell me that we don't do it for everybody else. The only people that had the power to give you permission to do that was city council. We go back to the movie industry. They came here, they wanted to use our parking lots, they needed to use dumpsters, they needed to do that. That came before city council multiple times. You've never asked city council to give you permission to use that property. And it says, any city officer or employee who knowingly conceals such financial interest or knowingly violates any of the requirements of this section shall be guilty of malfeasance in office or position and shall be deemed to have forfeited his or her office or position. So we have an issue at hand that's gonna get worse. Again, I'm all for communal dumpsters, but we've gotta deal with the fact that for 3 years you've been on a piece of property, your contractors broke the sidewalk, the taxpayers repaired that.
it was already broke. There was pictures that we sent from Danny from Google Earth from the year, 2 years before we even touched it, that was already broke. We have to use the city's dumpster people, and that's where they put it, and they drove it up there. We didn't drive it up there. We didn't move the dumpster. We didn't do anything. And well, it was already discussed. It was already broke. I didn't call or ask anyone to go fix no concrete. It was already broken. It needed to be fixed. But, you're bringing up another issue here that's not related to,
No,
It
but,
kind of
this.
is related, because that picture you're talking about was 2022. what was that, a couple years before, we're talking about the construction. So if it was so damaged in 2022, why wasn't it repaired in 2020? I know you don't, I'm just throwing this out.
It should have been.
So it seems rather interesting. I mean, nobody was there, we don't know, but, you know, it's like facts and circumstances, you know, if it quacks like a duck, that theory. But all of a sudden, that sidewalk is so bad, it requires repairs after you move your stuff out. What should we assume by that? Assume, I don't like that word because I always get in trouble with it. What should we conclude by that?
So that still sounds like it's a separate issue.
It may
And-
be,
And I
but
thought
it's,
that issue had already been discussed, and I thought that it'd been put to bed, but
No.
what's the issue?
So the
Do we
issue
need to
is,
do
what should
fees
we
for
be?
use of
Yeah.
city property?
Yeah, so what are we doing? Well, and also, it's conflict of interest. Did you personally benefit from using 254 Main Street?
It's not the topic.
The topic is for
Okay,
fees for use of city
okay.
property.
So what do we think is a fair fee to have a dumpster there?
And this is for me or for everybody?
For anybody that's gonna use
But
city
all-
So
property?
just a quick question. Are we talking purely about roll-off garbage dumpsters at this point, or are we
I
including?
think we're talking about
other
any
stuff?
use of any city property. Like when the movie people came here, we somehow or another found a place to find a fee to charge them to use our parking lots and things.
100%. I just want to make sure that there's a specific topic that we're talking about, because
Yeah.
you're not going to charge people for walking down the sidewalk.
No, absolutely not.
Right?
No.
So then I need to, in order for me to
Mm-hmm.
opine, I need to be able to hone in, like, if we're talking about garbage dumpsters, great, we're talking about garbage dumpsters. But if we're going to spread that out to other things, then I need that for clarity.
No, I think we're basically
And what
looking at
properties,
dumpsters and storing materials and things like that.
And I think just the other question, to make sure that I have the procedure right, when you want a dumpster, you go to City Hall, say, hey, I want a dumpster. Presumably, there's an application that you fill out. And then city contacts a third party shows up and drops a dumpster somewhere.
But
Is
the
that
bill
basically
goes to
right?
the address owner, which is our city,
The bill goes to the,
address owner, which is the city. On city properties, when there's a roll-off dumpster delivered, the bill comes to the city. So then we have to,
I paid for all the bills for all the dumpsters when it came for that, but now tacos, they took it over about a year and a half ago, or since before last April.
that was gonna be my next question, is whose
And
name's
they've-
kind of
and
on the
they've been-
application
Yeah, it's
of,
been under their name, and they've been paying the fees and everything. The city hasn't paid a dime for the dumpsters.
Could I throw out a suggestion? If you're going to do that, then do the permit like Donnie was talking about, have a permit that's applied for here, and in that permit, it's spelled out that whoever's applying for the permit will be responsible for that fee. It will not come to the city, but it'll be use of the city property. They would contact their own dumpster provider, have them drop the dumpster. Would that work?
Can't
No,
do
you
that.
can't do
So
that.
it's within
So let me
our
just
agreement with,
maybe help the situation here.
Okay.
So the only place that I could find that has a fee for dumpsters is the city of Savannah. And they charge $4 a day, I believe. And that's for a 19 by 8 foot area. So if that's something y'all want to charge for dumpster, and he's not the only one that's got it. There's other businesses on the other side of Main Street that I personally allowed to have a roll off there. So he's not exclusively, I've not, I don't know who you said told no, I've not told anybody they couldn't put a dumpster there, because the problem is they have to put it somewhere. They can't put it in the road, so they have to put it on whose property? The city of Loganville. Why? Because we own all the property. So I agree. If y'all want to create a policy, let's create it. But what I found is we do have a dumpster rental, which is like $2.36 a day.
It is a day,
That the vendor charges and we charge through them. So if y'all want to create a fee, then do it like storage units. They charge a 10 by 10, maybe $60 a month. It's anywhere from 60 to 125. But you know, our dumpsters are rather expensive versus other third-party, but our contract does not allow third-party dumpsters. That was part of the contract for waste management. So I would suggest maybe look at $2 a day for a roll-off. But then you're going to have another issue, which is before y'all, is when you do have businesses and restaurants come to downtown, say on the opposite side of 254, where are they putting the dumpster?
I think we need to look at, like we said, communal
Yeah.
dumpsters. But going back to
The
254.
construction dumpsters
So
are
will we
different
charge for
than-
that as well? For that use
Well,
of
you're gonna,
land?
the way, I mean, and we're having a discussion, so here's the way I think. I think right now, I think Renetta has 7 or 8 garbage cans out there, and that's $12 per, so that's $96. You're gonna have to come up with the dumpster, what it costs, what it'll be on the thing, and it adds to their water and sewer bill, as the way I think that should work. I don't know, when I rented, in strip malls, you pay your rent, and then you pay what's called a common area maintenance fee, and that covers your dumpster, your lights, your parking lot sweeping and everything. But the city, if the city's providing the dumpster, which I think we should, and have a communal dumpster, it'll look nicer, it'll be inside a thing, it's nice, it'll get, there's not all these trash cans sitting everywhere, because that's
Where
so.
will it sit if it's communal?
Well, we'll have to figure out, look at the properties and see, that's what I'm saying, this is something that we would need to start looking into to do it. But in the meantime, somebody, we're having people using city property that has used it with no fees for the last 3 years. I mean, because the way I understand it now, I could come up here, fill out a permit, and have a dumpster dropped at 254, and it could stay there indefinitely, and I could just bring my trash in there anytime I want to, as long as I'm paying the dumpster fee, is the way I interpret that. And that would not go over well if you just have residents start dropping dumpsters on 254 Main Street. So there's we're getting too big to just do things the good old boy way that we've done for the last how many ever years. And you're gonna start having people challenging all this stuff. And why not go ahead and fix it now and everything? But when, you've got your own people abusing the process, that doesn't make it any easier.
This line of good old boy stuff like that, that is not how any of this happens. There's been other business, like Danny said, there's another restaurant next to our park over there. She's not there anymore, but she had to put her dumpster on city property over there. Anybody who comes down to do construction on any of those old buildings in downtown is going to have some form of roll-off dumpster. So we're only going to hurt the potential businesses that are ever going to want to come to downtown by doing this. If you want to vote on it as council, everyone come up and vote before council. Or it could happen like it was before. You go to Danny, you ask Danny, hey, I'm redoing a building downtown. I don't have land on my property to put this dumpster. Is it okay if I put it, where would the city like me to put this to be out of the way and stuff like that? It wasn't just me, it's been other businesses that's done this. So you're acting like I'm a
I'm just,
crook?
I'm
You're
just
acting
sitting here
like
saying-
I'm doing this just to purely make money instead of what I'm actually doing, which is investing in my hometown to make downtown better for everybody. To
Danny,
bring
what's your
places
recommendations?
like that.
What's your
So-
recommendations?
Can I say here, I think your point, we have growing pains, to Danny's point, those are very good, valid points, both what you just made to rectify all of this.
What were the points?
That we come up with a policy to fix this.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and throw another wrench in
hear
the
Danny.
monkey. You're talking about the dumpsters, but when you're looking at Main Street, you get somebody to come in here to move in, they're gonna have to redo a building. They have nowhere to put the material. What are you gonna do about that?
They
That's what
come
we're saying.
before, they
That's
come,
what we
and it
said.
says, plain as day, they come
everything's been
before
talked
council.
about
The
dumpsters.
movie people
Okay.
had to come before us, they just have to come before, and we're gonna tell them
And as
yes.
part of the fix, I think there ought to be communal on both sides of the road.
But I mean, we tentatively have given the DDA 254 Main Street. For all I know, they've sold it and there's gonna be a building built tomorrow. You still gonna, or how are they gonna feel with having some random dumpster on their property? But if we have a communal dumpster that's a city, that it benefits that building, benefits all the people on this side of the road, you put one on the other side of the road, back there. I think as time has come, that's the way it's going to be. The too many, there's trash cans everywhere. It just is a bad look.
Yeah, and I brought that up previously about communal, but mainly with the DDA, but that's something we want to handle instead of the DDA. I'm all for that. So that sounds like two separate issues. One, we're going to discuss in the future or discuss upcoming what we want to do about communal dumpsters for everyday residents or for the everyday business owners downtown. So that's one topic right there. And then the second one is, does city council want to charge a fee, or how do y'all want to handle someone who wants to build downtown or who wants to improve stuff downtown? Do they need to come before city council to ask permission before they do that? Or is there a fee involved with it as well, or is it just a come and ask situation?
I think they should come before council, because one of my first questions is, how long is this renovation gonna take? And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. 3 years is a long time.
It
There's
is.
been businesses come to Loganville, opened up, went out of business, and the one that we're discussing hasn't even opened the door yet. I think the city's been more than generous. I mean, the grass was pretty originally, and then it got tore up with the contract. I mean, there's just been a lot of going on. So I think, yes, I think somebody that's gonna come into town and needs to use, I mean, when they build something on 254, where do you think somebody's gonna stack all their stuff anyway?
Is the going rate $2 or $4 a month for these dumpsters?
He said they only found
Is that
it
what
in
you were
Savannah.
saying?
No, he's saying a day to
I pay
use,
more than that per day.
a
A day,
dumpster
$2 or
is,
$4
There's a
a
rental
day?
fee.
Do they come in, the dumpsters, do we get sizes? I mean,
So there's
should we
dump,
char-
you're combining two different terminology. What we're talking about is
With
roll-offs.
roll-offs.
yeah, he's, yeah.
I was about to
Yeah, this
specify
is
the same
roll-off.
thing. I've
So-
been over here like,
It's never been an issue until recently. I will say that. So I've been a city manager since 2017. Had many people come and get roll-offs. Never had an issue with staff making recommendation. That's what my job is. The movie's different because they're making money on that. A business owner coming to the city, building a business in the city, paying property taxes. Yes, they're making money, but don't get me wrong. But it's like a perk because they had to pay so much for an admin fee, a dumpster fee, a rental fee. Now we're gonna charge this we have a lot that was not being used. I made a judgment to let a business owner use it. There was no coercion, no benefits. I would have done it for Brandon. I would have done it for you, Melanie. I would have done it for you, Wes. I would have done it for Joanne out here. Because we're here to help people. We're making this so incredibly difficult, I think.
We want businesses to come downtown. We want to make it easier for them, not harder.
I was asked to put a recommendation, so if y'all want to charge people, then we'll charge them. I don't think we need to charge more than $2 a day, because they're already getting charged for that dumpster rental, for the roll-off. There are no dumpsters on Main Street that's on city property. There are trash cans. They do not pay a rental fee. I don't believe the dumpsters pay rental fees either, only the roll-offs. And you can't say it's based on weight, because it's based on weight, it's based on time, it's based on a lot of things for roll-offs. So when everybody comes and builds, they have to use our, I'm sorry?
Construction debris is different.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
a
they
lot
have to
more,
use our
yeah.
roll-off service. They have to put it somewhere. If it's on asphalt, like two business owners, they did, I said, yes, put it down, but you had to put plywood under the wheels. Sometimes they don't notify us. If we catch those, then we say, hey, we need to pick this up and put it on, a board so it doesn't mess up the parking lot. There's two other businesses that right now that have put dumpsters on city property in the middle of the parking lot, and I had them removed last week. So it does happen, but it only became an issue recently, the last 2 years, I'd say. But I don't try to get in the middle of y'all. I'm not gonna get in the middle of y'all. I'm gonna do what the 6 of y'all tell me to do. And if y'all wanna rent, then let's rent. Let's make a policy and be done with it.
I
We've
think
talked
it
about
needs
this
to be a
so many
policy that
times.
does not need to come before council. It's done through an application process with the city staff. We
Can it
don't
not
need
be
to-
run through the code office as a permit?
Yes.
That's what we need to do.
Y'all set
That way
the
it's
fee. If
it's
you
it's
say, hey, we want
specified
this
for
to be
how
a
many
permit,
months or
that if they're
whatever.
gonna use city property for a roll-off service,
Yeah,
you can say no more than 180 days.
yep.
We just need guidance, and you, more importantly, need to set the fee.
That's what.
But
we
it's
need
gonna
to
be
do.
for everybody.
Or no
Right.
fee.
How about if we compromise and write in our ordinance, if we're gonna have one, you can use your dumpster on city property for X number of months or whatever?
That's what he just said. for
Oh,
like-
okay.
Yeah.
And then if it goes beyond that, then
Yeah,
maybe
it's a lot
we,
again.
yeah.
You have to reapply for the permit.
I feel like we could
And
talk about
extend
this
it.
all
I don't know
night.
about a permit. I think that's getting a little, these
You gotta have a
permits get
permit
out
to
of
do the
hand, I
building
think.
construction, might as well have a permit to do
I
the,
said application.
the dumpster there too. That way you
I
can
just-
control
the
it.
less, I'm with
An
Danny on that,
application
the
that goes to
less
staff or the
paperwork.
council.
Staff, we don't, my opinion is we don't need to
Right.
vote
Take it
on
before staff.
applications for
Come
Yeah,
up with
they
an
don't- as long as we have a
application
policy
that
in
goes
place.
to
As long as there's a
staff.
good policy in place
So
that,
can I suggest that, Danny, maybe y'all just write the policy for us and come back and say, and we tweak it from there?
What fee do you want?
I'm
$2?
gonna lean on y'all.
Okay.
I don't rent dumpsters.
$2 is
well,
fine.
dumpsters, like you said, are talking about roll-offs.
Roll-offs, dumpsters.
Yeah.
Roll-offs.
Now, be advised too, when you're in a building situation, kind of like tacos and beer, as long as the permit is valid and open, there is no time frame to finish the job. There are things that are out of their control that make the process go a lot longer. Believe me, I've been in this business for 20-plus years. I've seen houses take 4 years to finish. As long as they keep that permit open and valid, there is no time frame to finish a project. So if you're going to do this, then put in there the caveat, should there be extenuating circumstances that the permit or application could be extended for X amount of time. Okay?
Gosh, we've made this complicated.
Hey, it wouldn't
My
be-
question is hopefully simple. Will this be a citywide policy, or are we focused on any particular downtown core?
Well, it's city-owned property.
So citywide.
So just-
Citywide, got it.
Just for roll-offs.
Yeah, but
I
let's
don't know
also
the
look
difference
at,
Between the two, what's the difference?
So a roll-off
roll-off.
is
Yeah.
for construction
Yeah.
material. A dumpster is for stuff that's in a bag, like your household
right,
garbage.
but we need to look at somehow or
we
another the communal thing.
Use both then.
Well, because we're gonna look at having communal, I
Because
think,
a dumpster will be there indefinitely while the business is in operation.
Okay.
Like the dumpster out back here. It's there all the
So
time.
let me
Okay.
make sure I'm right with what you just said, because I dug into this question. You're saying for residential and commercial, right? For anyone, as, if they're in the city of Loganville, if they order a dumpster for their very house and they have it dropped, is that what you're saying or not saying?
No.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear
No,
on
if they're on
this.
private property, you know, that won't.
Okay.
So,
City-owned property.
City-owned property.
Okay, that's all I was wanting to find out.
All right.
okay.
And one more for clarification for the communal dumpsters, not roll-offs.
No, let's look into doing something with
But
that.
as the city, not as the DDA.
No,
So the city will handle that, not the
Yeah.
DDA.
yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we want the DDA to handle it if it gives them a revenue stream?
Because it
Wouldn't
involves
really
sewer
give them,
taps. Because you gotta run a sewer line for a dumpster.
Okay, thank you.
It's gonna be a lot more
Is
complicated.
there any way DDA could do this and use the money that's?
I
they
know,
give
she
for the
can't
grant?
hear down there. No, we
Huh?
just addressed that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was talking. So what was the answer?
The answer would be no, because dumpsters involve sewer taps, and so the DDA cannot do it. It would have to be the city.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
But I do think that the $4 a day or whatever it's gonna be should go to the DDA if it's the
That's-
property that they
The
have.
fee,
I
yeah.
think it should go to them since they own that are in charge of that property.
So,
That'd be nice.
so if a roll-off is placed in a residential, for residential construction, it'll have to be placed off of, on the property itself.
And they generally are.
Yeah, we're not talking about anything but
only-
city-owned property.
It's, the only time it's really hard is in downtown situations, when you don't have anything but the dirt that your building is sitting on.
Sure. But if
To
it's
do
on,
stuff.
if you place it on the city street, that's city property, so,
Yeah, so I guess it'd be streets, everything.
correct.
So, are you gonna charge for roads? Because that's city-owned property.
That's what
But they
he
do
just asked.
drop them in residential areas time to time.
Let me ask, do they have to get a
Oh,
permit
well.
to put them on the city,
No,
on
we
the
just allow them
streets?
to, if it can absolutely not go on their property because of the hills or something, we allow them to put it in there, but they had to put a cone. It can only stay there
Right.
for a limited amount of time.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, that's your answer right there. I mean,
But it's
a
still
limited amount of
city-owned
time.
property.
But it's a limited amount of time. It's not
Okay,
month after month, year after year.
all right.
I'm
So
gonna
just as
call
kind
it
of
tomorrow and get it removed, so it's not
Just
like
as-
it's gonna be an issue.
general
I'll
advice,
just,
I would
I'll have
not
them bring a
make
trailer.
getting dumpsters, roll-offs any more complicated than it has to be.
No.
Because once you do that, and I did construction work for about a decade out of high school, your 1987 Chevy truck's gonna show up, and that's gonna be your new dumpster. And then all that ends up on your city roads.
That's right, on the, yep, exactly.
So I wouldn't overcomplicate it.
And that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about city-owned property downtown, I think. All right, I guess I got one more, moving along.
What did we decide? Or do we,
Roll-offs on
Danny's
city
gonna-
property.
first?
Yeah. I know, you can't hear down there when there's stuff going on up here, and I can't
Danny's
hear
doing an
down there.
ordinance on that.
Danny's
He's gonna-
gonna come up, they're
Okay.
gonna work on a policy
And bring
for
it
that.
back to us.
And bring it back to us. All right, the third one involves traffic calming devices. And I got my people here. I've got some residents that live downtown, that live in Pecan Street and then the Bobby Boss corridor and Covington Street. And I know 4 years, we've worked on trying to get the traffic through there under control, tried to do everything, have gone through all the channels and everything. And we have a citizen that took it upon herself to, hang on, I know I've got it. Here it is. Took it upon herself to go out a few years ago and got the petitions for everybody in the area to sign it if they wanted traffic calming devices in that corridor. And at the time, was told that we didn't meet some of the qualifications, and that was several years ago. And in those last 4 or 5 years, we've built a library. We've now, that the numbers that we're told that's going to produce about 160 travels a day. We've approved a medical facility on Covington Street, and if y'all have ridden by there anytime lately, you've noticed that they built it front-facing Covington Street. Their atrium and everything is there. The back of the medical facility is what faces 78. Their parking lot faces Covington Street. And I asked when we approved that, because that was a much-needed facility for this city. But I did ask on behalf of everybody that lives in that area if we could just make that entrance off of Covington Street, if we could put a gate there and just have that badge in, badge out for employees only. So that way the patrons of the facility were using 78 and they weren't putting that extra traffic back on a little 2-lane road that can't handle it. And in researching, I did not see, and Danny, I meant to call you earlier, did we have the traffic, wait a minute, I forgot, I want to give the right name of this. Did Northside turn in a traffic impact analysis on that?
I would have to check with Robbie, I'm not sure.
Because the Institute of Transportation Engineers, they classify all your businesses and all your type of commercial entities. They classify them certain ways, and medical facilities and doctor's offices are classified as they produce 300 cars for every 10,000 square feet. And so that's a 40,000 square foot facility, which means that's going to produce about 1,200 cars a day coming in and out of a street that's already overburdened. Mike Jones, to give you a little history, was the mayor back in the day, and he wanted to put traffic calming devices on our street back then, and the city said, hey, let's try stop signs, and that'll make them have to stop and then go and then start again and then stop again. That should do it. And I would say for a good long time that worked. But for about the last 6 or 7 years, that method has no longer worked. And it's time to bring traffic under control on the area. I have 2 residents here tonight, as well as we had I have a new neighbor, moved in across the street, came over to introduce herself, and the first thing she said as we were sitting there talking and somebody flew through the stop sign was she says, "What are they gonna do about all the traffic over here? I didn't know I was moving into the, the International 500 over here." And I said, I'm working on it. I've been promising Ms. Croft over here for years. Patty has spoken to her. We've been working on it. And I just think the time has come that we look at putting in traffic calming devices over there. I can read you the letter from one resident, and I would like if we would hear from the citizens that live over there. So would either one of y'all care to speak?
Well, usually that happens at the
At the
public
public comment?
section, public comment, because we're probably not going to vote on this tonight.
No, I just want you to hear what
Oh, yeah,
goes
we'll
on over there.
definitely hear, like, during
Okay.
public comment, please come up.
Okay.
And I just want to try
Okay.
and keep us on track and
Okay.
so we can get to that part, because we also, I believe, have executive session tonight, so.
So anyway,
I'm not
So-
saying don't come up here, I'm saying come up during public comment to talk about it, please.
okay. So basically, then what I'm asking for is approval from council that we can go ahead and, if we have to have an engineer or a study or whatever, if we can look at the Pecan Street, Bobby Boss, and Covington corridor, to look at the cost analysis for putting some traffic calming devices over there. Our police are overburdened. When they do sit over there, they are able to get the traffic under control, but we can't rely on them. And traffic calming devices, they call them the silent police officer, because they work 24 hours a day. They don't ask for a raise. They create pedestrian safety, the resident safety and everything. It's just unreal the amount of traffic that goes through there anymore. And as a city, we've allowed that to happen, and we haven't protected the residents that live there. So I would like to see if y'all would be willing to entertain, and it's not just this area. I think any of the downtown corridor, Fair Street is another one. My gosh, go over there, you just about get run over. All the streets in the downtown corridor, I think they are candidates, and I think if the people that live there want some traffic calming devices, I think we should look into that, because, again, our city is growing. It's not gonna get smaller. There's never gonna be a time. There's less cars today than there will be tomorrow and next week and the next week. And when you're putting a medical facility and a library in a downtown corridor, you have to look at the safety of the children of the library, the people that are gonna be coming in and out of that medical facility. So I'm just asking my council if I could get support on moving forward with the process for that.
So wasn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, if there's something about when there's a request for traffic calming, they've got to have 75%, 75% of petition along the street, and then they can do the study. And then when they do the study, they're looking at the 85th percentile for the traffic speed.
Did you say a petition? Would you say yeah.
Yeah.
We have 100% participation. Everybody wants traffic calming
That's for-
devices.
For Covington Street?
Yeah, and did you hit Pecan Street on that one? Yeah, Pecan Street as well.
Yeah, the issue is that the speed limit doesn't meet the 85 percentile, so if you want speed and calming devices, great, change your ordinance, or just get rid of it.
Well, I kept talking to you about that, and you told me TPUDC was going to address this issue. And I've had 2 conversations with them, and both times they told me that, no, they've not been directed to do that. And I asked if we could, and they said that they were not directed to do that. So again, we're not even going to address traffic calming in the upcoming rewrite.
Because it's not a zoning issue, it's an ordinance, separate issue.
Right, well, then how
So
do
y'all
I
can
go
change
about
it.
changing the ordinance? Okay, let's change the ordinance, folks.
But then you still gotta follow the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Device, which is recognized by the state of Georgia, which the other issue comes into play, you don't have the sight distance. I hear y'all, it's the same thing I've been saying, but people get upset when I say no, I'm just following what the policy says.
So what do we need to, can we look at the ordinance or the whatever it is as written and see what changes can be made. And the other thing that I have tried to find out is why Covington Street is the only street in the downtown corridor that's 30 miles an hour, not 25 miles an hour. And I've tried to find out how we can change that. I've spoken to,
That would be a police and state patrol issue, I believe.
yeah, and I've spoken to,
Okay. Yeah, y'all can change it.
But it also depends on what the average speed is that's going out there. It's a,
Yeah, there's more to it than just magically waving a wand and doing the ordinance, because you do have the uniform code traffic the engineers are gonna use to say, because you just can't put a speed hump, because if somebody can't see it and launches in the air because you don't give enough warning, it could be, I don't wanna speak on libel of the city, but that's why you have to have the sight distance. And I believe one of the last times we looked at Covington was, there was only one spot that met the sight distance, but it wasn't too close to the stop sign. I had to get back with Highways and Streets. Jeremy may know if he remembers, but that was been a minute, probably a year and a half ago that we talked about that. Of course, the manual uniform traffic also says you gotta meet the 85 percentile. A lot of people will sit there, and what Chief will tell you is, when you're sitting on your front porch and see somebody going by, you think they're really going, but when a radar picks them up, they're not going over that 10 miles posted speed limit. So they have to be going 40 plus, and 85% of the traffic has to be at least 10 miles over, and they're not. So that's something that we could look, if we can see how the state doesn't per se have a law on traffic calming devices, but the state does use the manual uniform traffic control devices for speed humps. So
And we'd have to follow that.
Most definitely.
that's a legal question. I think you do.
Bill just said most
Yeah, I
definitely.
thought you did. So it's not because I don't want to put them there. It's because all the things say they can't go there because of the sight distance or the speed limit. There's more to it than just that.
well, let's address the speed limit to start with. Let's do what we gotta do to get it to be the same as everybody else in the city, 25. And then your 10 over would put you at 35, because I get behind people all day coming down my street, and when that radar, which we need to move the location of that, but where the radar is, I mean, I'm always behind people going 40 and 44 and 45 miles an hour, but if the speed limit's 25, then we could catch them in that 35 thing, so we can at least look at that. I've hit a wall on doing that, and then if we could just can we just look at this again and see what can be done?
Just change the speed limit.
Let's change
Yeah,
the
the speed limit should be easy. I know of a city that's done that on 3 fairly major streets just recently, so it
Yeah,
should
we
be a
did
fairly easy
Baker Carter,
process.
we did another one, we did
So
some others.
Should be a pretty easy
But
process.
I'm not gonna say who to
Well, if
spoke
they're not
to,
abiding by
but
the 30 miles per hour, is there a reason we think they're going to abide by the 25?
no, there's not, but then apparently it gives you more leeway in getting the percentile of the number of speeders. Do you see what
Then
I'm
they're gonna
saying?
slow down though.
Which gives you
Which is good.
a
They're not
better
gonna slow-
way to
trust
get
me, they
calming
ain't gonna slow
devices?
down.
Is that-
Do what now?
Sorry, we're gonna need to have one person go at a time.
This
Patty?
gives you a better way to get your calming devices? if the
believe
speed-
so.
Okay, okay. Danny, can you go through it, through the state, whatever you're talking, what we have to abide by, and apply that to Covington? Has that been done?
Yeah, that's what keeps us from putting them there, because the sight distance. You don't have that sight distance because either curve or stop sign. It's gotta be so many feet. There's so many rules. This is where traffic engineers will have to come and tell you, but
Okay.
I know that was one of the issues. So you got 2 issues. One is the 85% wasn't speeding.
Right.
That's one. And then the second one, you gotta have a sight distance. So we'll just have to look at it. It did change, in 2023, the manual on traffic control
Well, and
changed. So
the-
maybe it's gotten better. I don't know. I have to look at it. Could have gotten worse, but that's something we'll have to get with the engineer. But then the other aspect of it is they had to pay 50%.
Well,
And that was another area they're like, well, I'm not paying. The city should pay. I said, well, that's what the ordinance says.
Well, we can rewrite the ordinance,
Correct. You would just have to. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
yeah. Well, maybe just go back through it. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
So I think what you're saying is there enough interest up here to ask Danny
Yes, that's what
to
I'm
pursue
asking.
this?
Can we get Danny to look into this, or
Straw
Jeremy? Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Okay with that?
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. But I'm still gonna have them talk at the end.
Yes, please.
And finally, I'm done.
All right, well, thank you so much, Molly. Up
Danny's
next-
glad.
Up next, we have Public Utilities Committee Report. Bill?
I have no items.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Facilities Committee Report. Wes?
We're working on Tyler Park. City of Loganville went out there and started clearing off some stuff. We're in process of getting the park up to par. Station 16 still under construction, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, good deal. Well, thank you, Wes. Then we have Transportation Committee Report. Bill?
All righty, so let's see. So we have two items. The first item was on the agenda to start with, and then the second one was the addition from Keck and Wood. So I'll start with the bid. So the city, I didn't print out all my bids with me, but actually I probably have them. But I think there was 10 bids submitted for paving. The lowest bidder was DCBC LLC. Keck and Wood has reviewed the bid. The low bid price is $330,001.30. They found that they also did some reference calls to other municipalities, has worked with this contractor, got favorable results, and so they've presented a recommendation to award the bid. Any questions or comments?
Anything from council?
Seeing none, can we put that on consent?
No, oh, you're talking about the LMIG?
Yeah.
I don't want to put that on consent. I'm still doing a little research on that. I'd like to vote on that Thursday, if you don't mind.
Okay. Anything that I need to look at and look
No.
into? Okay. And we'll hold that. The second item is what came in. So, came in from Keck and Wood. So this is their proposal to administer the advertisement of just like they do, whenever we put a package out to bid, we have them advertise put together the package to advertise. We have them review any type of bidding questions. They are there at the actual bid, the opening of the bids. Of course, they review them, and then once that process is done and it's awarded, then they have what we call construction inspection or monitoring, so that they're going to have people out there that check on it, making sure that we are getting, that the contractor is building what is in our plans and specifications. They've changed, the reason we say it changed a little bit, because when they first sent it to Danny, they had it for like a 6 to 9 month period, and then after going back and thinking about it, they would adapted it to 12 month. So they're going to be charging at the at the hourly rates that they already charge the city. They've estimated, excuse me, at $4,500, but they are being paid hourly rates.
All right, any questions from council?
So if it's okay with council, we can put that on consent.
Is consent good with everybody? Sure. All right, that is on consent.
And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you so much. Next, we have the city manager's report. Danny?
I spoke long enough tonight.
I know. All right.
That's
Do we
it,
have anything
Danny?
from the city attorney?
Nothing in public session, Mayor. We do have executive session tonight.
All right. So now we do have public comment. Please, anybody who wants to come up and come on up, you gotta state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes, unless time is given by the mayor, and state your name and address. Yep.
Thank you,
that microphone on? Hold on, real quick. I'm not gonna start the time yet, I promise.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, and
There we go.
ladies and gentlemen. My name's Phil McMahon. I moved here in 2020. I live at 4250 Eddie Bird Lane, right down Winder Road, Beulah Land subdivision. And I've never had a problem with water bills. And I paid it, all my water bills, never paid a late bill, but back for the February bill, my average bills from like October of last year until I got a bill for like over $330 for a water bill. And I paid it, and I asked the lady when I paid the bill, because I come in early in the morning, and there's nobody at my house during the day. My daughter, she teaches, and her husband they both work in Lawrenceville, and I've got 3 grandbabies, and they're in school. And I had that $330 water bill. Well, it was over $330. And I asked the lady when I paid it, I said, why did my water bill more than double? And she was looking up at a screen. She said, because it said you had a leak between the meter and your house. And I said, I don't have any leak. And the lady she is a young girl, I don't know how old she was, but anyway, she said that her boss would be back in about 20 minutes. So what I did, she said, would you like to wait? And I said, yeah. I said, I'll just wait. I'm retired. I've been retired 14 years, so I don't have nothing to do. I just fool around with a bunch of old cars and stuff. So the thing was the lady came in, and I told her, and the girl did tell me, she said, you had that leak. And she said, and the lady that came in, that was her boss, she said, would you like for me to send somebody out? And I said, sure. And it was a guy about 6'2", kind of muscular, like young guy, black hair, real dark hair. And we went over to the meter. The meter wasn't running. I don't use the dishwasher. My daughter does all that. Wasn't anything moving in there, and he said, well, looks like we've got a problem. He said, I don't think you got a leak. So from October of last year up until March, my bill averaged about $161. So I paid the $330. Then I've got 3 other bills that I paid after the $330. Those bills averaged $153. And I don't have a leak. I didn't call the plumber or anything because I knew, and see, this is the thing. If you have a leak at your house, in your house, or a line or anything, it won't fix itself. If it's a leak, it's a leak. It's just like I've got a street rod that was leaking antifreeze just last week. I found out it was a radiator cap. I fixed it. If you've got a tire that is going down and you put air in it and you don't go to have somebody look at it, it's going to leak back down again. So I just paid a bill June the 2nd.
So you had 1 month of a high bill, and the rest of them went back to normal?
They were back to normal.
But no leak, no nothing that you could find, no leak, anything you're saying?
No, it's no leak or anything.
Okay.
And I've got cameras all around my house. the city, but I have to give the lady that worked at the water department, when I left, I went back home. And within 20 minutes or so, the water department was down there, but the guy did not, he said, I don't see any, the meter's not running. And I told the lady in the water department, I said, ma'am, I said, the only thing that I know is somebody must have read the figures wrong. And, I mean, that money's just as good to me.
Can you bring that bill back up to the city and have them reread those numbers for you?
Pardon?
Do you still have a copy of that bill so you can bring up here for the city to reread or anything like that?
You're talking about,
Mayor, I don't need that.
Oh, you don't need it, we have that?
We have copies of the bills.
Oh, okay, I wasn't
Problem
sure
is,
if
the
it
time
was.
frame is passed, and I can't pull a data logger because it's.
see, the only thing that I've got, I mean, I went back in my checkbook, cause I write a check.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote every check number and the date that I paid the water bills before the $330 bill. And then I paid 3 monthly bills after that $330 bill. And they're back to normal.
Okay.
And like I say, a water, if you have a water leak, it will not fix itself. That's common sense. And I paid like about 160 or $70 more when I paid that $330 bill.
Well, we're over our time, and I'll let you have the extra few minutes. Thank you so much. Is there anything, Danny, that we need to know else about this? Yeah, go talk to Danny after the
I can
meeting.
talk to you after the meeting, but usually on these type of issues, just for the public's information, I get these.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I get these
just
phone
said-
calls once a week. Usually on something like this, it's a toilet valve that's gone bad, and they always tell me the same thing, it's not my toilet, and then 2 months later, like, we replaced the toilet valve. And that could have been it. Usually it's a spare bathroom that doesn't get used very often. Somebody uses it, and if it's a chain driven, it'll get stuck behind the flapper, or if the flapper valve gets dry rotted and it slowly leaks, you'll never know it. That's usually what it is, but if people call us within a couple months, we can look. The meter will tell us when that meter runs on an hourly basis, but now we're past it because it only stores so much memory, but we're past that
Can
now.
I say one other thing?
Yes, sir.
Ever since I've had that $330 bill, I've checked that meter every day I'm at home.
Yeah.
I'm at home the only time that I leave, I go to car shows on Saturday. But 6 out of 7 days I'm at home, and I go out there at the end of the road and look in that meter, and nothing's ever moving. I don't wash clothes. I don't do dishes. I don't wash my cars. I've got 7 cars. And all my cars, I use special cleaners to clean them because they're street rods. They're $100,000 cars. I've got 4 street rods, a Corvette, and 2 Mercedes. And I don't get a water hose out and
Yeah.
spray.
Yeah, I think I think we got it. Please talk with Danny afterwards. I am glad to hear that our water department showed up so fast. So,
Like I say,
thank you to
the
our
only
water
thing that I can
department.
say is, God said, "Thou shalt not steal," and I believe that. And can I just say one other thing? I've enjoyed coming here, but I wish that y'all would get a chaplain to pray before this meeting goes on.
They come on Thursdays,
And
yes.
then say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, so we do
I'm a
that.
veteran.
We do that on Thursdays, yeah.
Thank you very
This is just a work session, and that's like our voting session. It's a bit more pomp and circumstance on that one. So, but we do have an awesome preacher coming this Thursday. He likes to sing sometimes too, so be careful, everybody. All right, anybody else? Hey, Terry.
I'm Terry Malcolm, I live downtown, Pecan Street. I just want to try to get y'all's support on the speed bumps. I sit out there every day, watch it. There's been so many almost wrecks. We use the police as genies. We think we can just snap our fingers and they can come work traffic. They just got too much to do. And I think 90% of our problem we solve with speed bumps, especially if we're going to put in the medical people, because the Covenant Street and Pecan Street's just a dirt road they paved. And the mailboxes get hit out there because there ain't no room. You gotta stop. The people we got now coming to the city, they don't know how to slow down. The gas being high, everybody rides bicycles, walk. The other day, the guy that rides the bicycle to work, he got run off into the retention pond because the car was going so fast when it turned. He had nowhere to go, so he just went off in the retention pond. So it's getting pretty bad. Especially like me, my grandkids will walk up into your game room, and everybody thinks that's like a parking lot, the road. But I almost got hit head-on the other day when they come around that curve coming off Main Street. So basically, Covenant Street and Pecan Street's just aggravation street for people that's aggravated with 78. So they just come off 78 and they just stomp it to get their frustrations out. And then all they're doing is go right back to Main Street or Covenant Street. And I think we're gonna probably have a problem with this medical thing, because we're putting people to go around the block instead of coming out on 78. And even me, when I leave, I can't go out on Bobby Boss to 78. I have to go all the way down to Hodges Street to get out. So it's gonna have to be an issue we're gonna have to address with the speed bumps, because traffic has gotten that bad. I mean, I can't count how many wrecks they're gonna about had out there. And like I say, like before I came, a little kid on an orange dirt bike riding no helmet coming up through there. When he come out, here comes a Honda Civic and ran him off. You know, I mean, you
It
got
wasn't my
kids that
Honda
just,
Civic, was it?
Huh?
Wasn't my Honda Civic, was it?
No, it was.
It wasn't me.
As
Okay.
it run off.
No, that's what I was like, dang.
But basically, it's an issue that y'all gonna really have to take seriously look at.
Yeah, I
It's
believe
gotten
you.
so out of hand. I know Danny's talking about, he's got rules to go by, but, maybe you can look at other towns. I know McDaniel Street, Monroe has 12 speed bumps between Broad Street and West Spring Street. And Mansfield's got 4 speed bumps just in Mansfield. And Rutledge has 3 in their little city. So maybe we can kind of do a survey and check how they get around getting all the speed bumps they want. And maybe, but we definitely need them. It's gotten that far out of hand.
No, thank you, Terry, as always, for coming and letting us know.
Thank you.
You're awesome. All right. Anybody else?
I am Amber. I live on the corner of Covington and Church Street. I too was almost hit not too long ago on Covington Street. I was turning left, going up towards Walgreens. Luckily, my gut was telling me not to continue to stop, and the car just ran right through the stop sign. And luckily, Terry was out on his front porch, and I guess he saw it, because I was almost hit. So I've been out here since 2003, and I can sit on my front porch and I see a car flying by, and they rev up their engine on purpose because they know that we don't, because there's no cops coming through there. And I've spoken to Chief about it numerous times. I've spoken to other officers numerous times. And even when I walk my dog, I got to be careful because people fly by me because they have no care. They don't have, this generation does not have any kind of, I don't want to say the wrong word, but they just weren't brought up the way that I was brought up. Common courtesy, respect. And that to me is more than anything else. We do need speed humps. If obviously we can't have any police officers continue to stay on patrol through there, then we need speed humps to solve the issue. Because it's only going to get worse, as Terry was saying. And I want y'all to reconsider it tremendously, because we do need it. Because there's kids now in the neighborhood up and down Covington Street. And there's a newborn across the street. And that's be a matter of time before she will be walking around. So it's just common courtesy and just common respect. And the people that come live here now, they don't have any of that. So if they want to fly up and down the street, they can fly up and down 78. And then, of course, the Loganville Police Department will get a hold of them if they choose to continue to speed. So that's basically where I'm at. That's it.
Thank you for coming and
Thank you,
talking
Amber.
to us, Amber.
And just for a matter of record, I'll make this quick. There was a neighbor recently moved in, and she cares for her elderly 97-year-old bedbound mother, so she couldn't be here tonight. And I want her voice to be heard, and so she sent me her message, and if you just give me just a second to read this into this. It says, "To the entire governing body of the City of Loganville, I've been a resident of the City of Loganville since 1964. I love my city and I always strive to make it better. I recently moved right off of Main Street to Covington Street. If you are familiar with Loganville, you know that sometimes morning traffic and definitely afternoon traffic can get stalled on Main Street. People use Covington Street as a cut-through to access Highway 78 or other areas. In doing so, they carry the frustrations of sitting in traffic on Main Street, and when they turn on Covington Street, this is where my concerns start. There's a safety issue because of speeders, and there's a three-way stop sign that intersects Bobby Boss Way and Covington Street. At least 100 people run these stop signs every day. My question to you is, what are we as a city going to do about it? Not only is it dangerous for the residents that already live on Covington Street, or people going the speed limit on Covington Street, or attempting to make a stop at the stop sign. The new library will be open in August, and there will be families with children trying to access Covington Street. What exactly is public safety going to do to rectify this issue? Will it be increased patrol, speed humps, new cameras, speed limit signs? And as a concerned citizen, I beg of you to take action swiftly. Signed, Virgie Ragsdale Roundtree, 208 Covington Street.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Oh, we got Assistant Chief coming up here. All right.
Just felt like I'm sure I'll get lecture from the chief tomorrow for coming up here, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This is about the attorney thing. I'm not here to advocate for anybody. Know Mr. Rosenthal for over 20 years professionally. There's a handful of attorneys that I would call for myself to do. So I encourage y'all, not only to look, if you're gonna look for different attorneys, look for their qualifications. They all do different things. And I don't know, have no data to support the money. I can tell you it costs $10,000 to get off a DUI. So I don't know where the numbers are coming from. Y'all are concerned about the citizens, and I agree with you 100%. So are we. That's what we work for. We work hard to keep our budgets down, to do what we can for the citizens. Understand that the attorneys represent us too as employees. I don't know about y'all, but there's only certain people that I won't represent me if something happens to us while we're on duty. So please keep that in mind whenever you consider this.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone?
Hey, Joanne Byrne, 520 Tullis Hills View. Patty, Lisa, Melanie, and Wes, I want to thank you. I'm sitting here and I can't remember the last time I sat in this room where I felt like taxpayers were being considered. So I really thank you for all the time and the effort and the digging into numbers, and it's not easy, I'm sure, so I thank you for that. At the risk of sounding crazy, I don't understand the money being paid. I'm a terrible businesswoman, always was. I tend to feel for people and try to do the right thing and not be greedy, and I don't know. This is government work, and we've got the county taking more of our money, and these damn darn house increases, and the valuations going up, and I don't understand how anybody trying to help us and our employees just keeps taking. I don't get that. And Brandon, with all due respect, in terms of the dumpster, I also don't understand, because I hear what Danny's saying, but you were the elected official, and it's like, I don't understand why you didn't dig in. Like, there it was in the ordinance, and it's a bad look. And I'm not saying that you did anything to gain, or it just, and you do. You hear people talk. It doesn't look good for you, essentially. So I don't, you dig in. So that's it. I'll cut it here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
My name is Lee Phillips. I live at 4421 Pecan Street, and I just want to stand up here today for capitalism, because capitalism is built on competition. And without competition, rates go up, because once somebody decides that they have ultimate power, then they can decide what they do with that ultimate power. So I think it's a good idea that we shop around on how we're going to spend our taxpayers' dollars in the city. So I applaud y'all for wanting to look around, because that's capitalism in action. I'm disheartened when I hear things like, well, you just have to settle for this because this is the way it is. No, not in a free America. That is not the way it is. When someone tells you you have to settle for something, that means you don't have a choice. We have a choice, and we're exercising that choice. So I think it's a good idea that we're looking around. Whether we choose one or not, it doesn't mean capitalism and competition doesn't mean that the $20,000 set price for right now to keep things as they are is a starting point to go up from. In competition, that would be a starting point for somebody to say, how can I beat my services, make the price lower? How can I benefit the town with a lower price, not a higher price? So I want to see competition. I want to see conversation, because that means that maybe we'll get a little bit more for our money. I live right across from 254 Main Street. Been there throughout the whole time of all the construction and all, and I will say that at the moment, the dumpster doesn't create a problem for me and my mom. Here's the reason why. It's not an eyesore when it is blocked from view. Now, when the company that was doing the erecting of the steel and all was there, and they had their dumpsters out in the open and everything for all the town to see, everything was an eyesore. But now, it is confined with a fence around it. I think that if y'all are going to address the issue of dumpsters on city property, there should be some type of stipulation that they cannot just be in the free open air, that they must have a fence around it. Doesn't have to be a lock fence, it's just got to be a site barrier fence. So you're not looking at a dumpster, you're looking at a fence. And to be honest, more of an eyesore is the overgrown kudzu that has evaded that property for years and years and years. And no one has ever done anything about it, not the previous property owners and not the city, since the city has taken it over and been responsible for the cleanup of what's on the city's property side. So we are doing things to make progress in Loganville, and progress is going to happen. And progress is painful, but it's the having conversations between the people that bring us to a conclusion that benefits the town as a whole. And that's the one thing we can never lose, is the conversation. As long as there is a legitimate fact to be discussed, it should be discussed on both sides. Nothing should ever be one-sided. There is no, this is the only way. No, that doesn't exist. There is always a choice. That is the one thing that God gave us that made us different from every other creation on this planet, is the ability to make our own choice. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Lee. All right, anybody else?
How's games on Main doing?
It's going okay. His brother did a lot of the artwork in downtown
That mural
Loganville.
that says "Welcome to Loganville."
Yeah.
Me and my brother did that.
And they did a lot of the work inside, and he reached out to, I believe, Jeff
Mhm.
a while back.
Is Jeff here?
No, I believe he's out of town.
Okay.
But he asked about filming in downtown Loganville. So I asked him just to come and let council know, to see what council thought about it, especially since it was kind of sounded late. And we let somebody do it for the fair kind of thing. So he has all the information on it. I don't know all the information, but I just want to let you know I did invite him here just to talk to council about it.
Yeah, so,
Can you give his name, address first?
yeah, I'm Tyler Schmidt. I live on 1354 Abbey Kilgore Way off of Old Loganville Road. I'm an aspiring film producer and creator. I do have an upcoming project that I think this building, the city hall, will be a good fit for. It's considering that it was a former elementary school. The film I'm doing is about these high school jocks that I treat as outcasts and they're striving for social acceptance. So, so the film does take place at a school, and I figured this would be the perfect candidate for that. So as far as, compensation, I will provide compensation to the city. It is on a budget. So on average, about 25 to 30% of the film's total budget typically goes towards locations. But I'm on a very fixed budget here since these are coming out of my personal funds. So it's not a whole lot, but it is appropriate percentage according to the total budget that I have. So we're talking 25 to 30%. I need about 2 days of filming at this very location. Filming's taking place in the middle of August. So I'm willing to get with you guys after the meeting, discuss details with that as well. I do have legitimate liability coverage. That's $2 million for aggregate, what's it called? General aggregate. And yeah, and all that aside, since Loganville has had a history of films being taken place here, I would love my film to be a part of that community as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right.
So since we don't have a council meeting in July, that's something that y'all would need to take action on, or we can put it on the July retreat. But
Was that
it's
something
use of
y'all
the
would
city
even
property.
want to do? to
Well, I would just
consider?
have questions if it's gonna
How about I just
impact
have him-
staff and stuff, so
yeah.
I mean, there's questions.
We'll just get him to email all the details in the project, and
I think you
Then-
guys should work the details out and come to us.
that's the issue. We don't have another council meeting until August.
Well, that,
He needs it in
oh,
August.
well,
August 14th to the 16th.
we got email. I mean, do y'all know the policies? I mean,
Have no idea.
was it,
Well-
then?
No,
was this
'cause I mean,
not-
we
why
went
wasn't
through it
this
with
on the
that.
I'm
agenda
not even
then?
sure we
I mean,
have them.
It should have been on the agenda if we need to make a decision tonight or this week.
Yeah, and that's why I just asked them to come and talk about it, just to get a feel for council, because
Is this
I
something
didn't
you can
know
do
how
before
council
Thursday?
would see.
I was gonna, yeah, is this something we
Danny?
can put on for Thursday?
I know very no little, I was just looking.
I mean, you know what our
next council-
policies are, what we can and can't do, our liabilities and,
Got that. I can't grant access to the city. That's what I'm asking you. Is
I
this
didn't ask you
something-
that. I was asking, can y'all work out the details and bring it to us for Thursday?
I will do my best, yes. But I don't know. I will get with him and see.
Okay.
So what, and we don't know what impact, is it?
Right.
Is it this
Right,
room, is it
yeah.
offices, is it what?
Yeah, and is it gonna impede the flow of city business, and is it on a weekend or weekdays, or when is it?
Weekend, we'll be filming on Saturdays.
So then we'd have to have somebody from the city up here on overtime. So there's a lot to be discussed.
Well, we can do that, like Lisa said, I guess through email,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because we need to get him a decision by August.
Well,
well,
Yeah,
before then, because he would
probably.
probably need to
Yeah.
find another location if it doesn't work out.
Tyler, can you tell us more about what,
You can come back
what
up
kind of
there.
room you, what do you, I mean, this was the cafeteria, but it's not a cafeteria now, so, what type of room do you need? What is it that you need from the
So,
building?
the specific scenes that we're doing here, one takes place in a parking lot, and we're also doing a classroom scene, a hallway scene, and a locker room scene. So inside access would be very helpful, but, I mean, any help is better than none. If you're willing to give me access to the parking lot, that's helpful too. But, it's not a very stagnant film. It's taking place in multiple different settings. So, I do prefer inside access. If you need a staff member here to give us access in the building, they'll be compensated as well, and I am providing meals as well. That is part of the budget. And Brandon, he did tour with me this far section of
That
the
was a
building
long
here that's
time ago,
vacant.
though.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. But that is perfect for what we're doing. There's no
I thought the
confidential.
project died, so I was like, okay, I guess we're done with this.
Yeah.
So do we have a locker room? Are you bringing in lockers?
Some props will be brought with us, but, I mean, it's kind of a smaller film, so we'll just have to cheat with what we have and make it work. It's not like a multi-million-dollar film, you know? So we're trying to make that big of a film out of this, so what I'm doing is called the proof of concept. It's basically the director's pitch. This film that we're doing, it gives big, high productions, like, a visual of what our idea is. Like, this is what we want to do. This is the movie we want to make, but it's like a 15-minute sample of what we want to make. So we kind of like show that to big productions, and, you know, whether or not it gets greenlit is up to them. But it's best to have, you know, a sample with you to show them as a visual. So that's basically what we're doing at the moment. And if you're willing to, you know, if you wish to grant my request, you know, we will consider you guys for the feature, and that's where the real money is.
I know one of the things when it was the Apple TV thing, it was that we wanted to know more about the script and things because we might not represent what we stand for morally and ethically in this city. So I know that was a concern.
It is a high school comedy. I mean, other than, you know.
I mean, is it foul language? Is it, you know?
Very moderate, but I'm willing to compromise. I can take the foul language out. That's going to be an issue because one thing Jeff did mention is that you guys care about your reputation, and I do too as a local citizen here. I'll never put you guys in a situation to jeopardize, you know, your reputation or name. So, you know, if foul language is going to be an issue for you, then it will be removed from the script. I do have a clean version of the script. I'll send you guys both versions, and you can choose which one you want. But it's a high school comedy. Like, Steven Spielberg's my inspiration, and he loves that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration from. But you know, I'm willing to. I can bend a
How
little
long
bit.
is the movie?
So the movie's about 10 to 15 minutes, which is about average for a proof of concept. You don't want to go any higher than that because it's just
How
a
many
proof of concept.
how many pages is the script?
The script is about 15 pages, including action scenes, not just dialogue. So in total, you're probably looking at 10 to 15 minutes. And as far as amount of personnel that'll be on the premises, we're probably looking at 20 to 25 people, 30 at the most, but they're all covered under my liability insurance. And it's good till March of next year, sometime early next year sometime. And I do have proof of that as well.
And I know Danny's pretty busy. I mean, is that something y'all can work together? I mean, I don't think we can make a decision on this tonight.
No, I mean,
No,
you got
I don't
2
think
months.
we're-
I'm not looking for a
You can't do
decision
it by
tonight.
Thursday?
It just depends on if we get the script and you're okay with it. I mean, there's a million things. Costs, what you gonna charge them, not charge them. Other person we didn't charge because it was out in the parking lot. He's a citizen of the area. So if you want to use the school and as long as it fits your script, I'm not about making money, but you know, you can't compare Apple TV to him. It's two different animals, but mainly if it's something y'all would even entertain because we don't want to waste his time or our time if y'all have no reason to,
I mean, I think we need to read the script. I'm going to be
yeah,
honest.
the last time I talked about this was, I said, well, we need to see what the movie's about. And that's the last I
That's
heard.
exactly right, because I mean, if it's high school comedy and it's vulgar in taste and uses foul language, I'm not
I'm
not for our city
We
being
have
a
had a
part of
movie
that.
come to us before and they used initials, and then we found out what the initials meant. It was a deal
Yeah.
breaker.
So just send us the script, email it to me, and then you have my card
I do
here.
have a hard copy of the original.
Okay, you can just leave that and I'll make copies for him.
And I'll also send you the clean version if you want.
Okay, sure.
I think you need to define what these parts are, the parking lot, the scenes, so that they know what the impact is in the
Yeah.
building.
Because I don't think the parking lot might not, I mean, at least for me, I don't think the parking lot's really the issue.
Yeah.
It'd be the inside.
Mhm.
So like you say, we don't have to have somebody here, staff monitoring, that would, you know.
So we would have to have a contract, right, with us and them? Like we've done in the past?
Potentially, yeah.
We do have an NDA contract as well that I'll be more than happy to send you.
Send it to him.
Yeah, I'll get his email after we're done.
All right, well, good deal. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else coming up? I think we had everybody in the room. All right, good deal. So we are going to close out, can I get a motion to close out of our work session? To then go into executive session?
So moved.
You got a first?
Second.
Second by Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
you.